We click the
Oh, we're
record button
good.
and it spins.
All right.
Yeah, it's OBS. I have that sometimes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Codcast. My name is Anthony, aka Nameless, alongside Ben J. Nassim. We're going to be talking about everything going on in the COD scene this week. We got the minor tournament coming up, and there's been some roster changes. We got to see these teams debut their first couple of attempts at getting some points. Some got better, some got worse, and some look like they're headed towards impending doom. We will get into all of that. But to start things off this weekend, became a pretty hot topic. Puckett tasked me with making a top 10 list. And, I was trying to make criteria, opinion. Our opinions are flying around on social media about the list. I spent quite a bit of time on it, and I openly embrace any debate. And so that's what we're here to do, just kind of talk about it with you guys. I hopped on the flank last night and talked with him about it. And so we'll kind of piggyback off of that. But yeah, so this is what the top 10 I came up with for the audio listeners who haven't seen it. Simp 1, Mercules 2, Joe Deceives 3, Abuza 4, and Scrap 5. And I think that's where the MVP race currently is at right now for me with those 5. And then 6 is Shotzi, 7 Rencor, 8 Ghosty, 9 Dashy, 10 Neptune, with honorable mentions of Hook, Hydra, and Kips, with all 3 of them not making it for various reasons. So I'll kick it over to you, Ben. You tell me what you think of the list, what you would possibly change, and then we can get into it.
I think your top 5 is pretty good. I think Simp and Merc is really, to me, the MVP race right now. But as Steve's improve, I think Ernie will probably work his way in. Joe's having a disgusting season. I think Abuza is playing at an all-star level, and I think if the all-star voting was today, I think he may make that team 1 over Scrap, which would be really interesting. I think the tough thing is always when you make top 10 lists is 6 through 15 can be really tough because you're trying to weigh out stats over like impact. And I would personally, for me, as good of a season as Rencor's having, I would slot him down in order to fit Hook on this list. I don't mind Paco being just outside the top 10 right now, although he'll probably work his way in.
Yeah, he's not in
will probably potentially work his way in. The one thing I think particularly amiss is just Kyler not being in the top 10. I know his S&D stats aren't good. The respawn stats are good, but the impact he brings to his team, what he's executing at his current level, like the human UAV element while being a sub player, I would put him in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that, right? Because this is the top 10 players. They all have a massive impact. And I was listening to the flank last night, and I heard them all. Haggy had them all list their top 10 players. I think Tom had Hook down at 10. When you really start to actually list your players, it's difficult to have him above some of these guys. If you're wanting to boot Rencor out, I think that is completely unfair to him. The amount of players, guys, that get dropped for not being able to put down damage and to get kills is astronomical. No matter how much you want to say Hook impacts the game more than Rencor, it is all tied to his team. And I'm not saying that doesn't make Hook an incredible player. He's an astounding talent, an amazing player. And in stage 2, he was unbelievable. This is a list based on the entire season, from the start of week 1 qualifying matches through the majors until now. If we were talking like just stage 2, Hook was top 10 in stage 2. But we're talking the whole season. You look at Hook's stage 1, and listen, this isn't like me crapping on Hook. Like I'm like, I want to put that out there. Hook's a phenomenal player. How do I get to like his just straight up stats for the first stage on here?
Which stats you trying to find?
I want to find stage 1 stats on the Breaking Point website.
Go to event stats.
Event stats. For all of stage 1. Okay, so in the Major 1 qualifier, Hook was nowhere near as good as he was in Major 2 qualifier. Yeah. And on top of that, Hook's 0.8 in S&D. And like I said, this isn't all based on stats. It's not. But there are some things that hold Hook out of it. He had a huge surge in stage 2, 0.8 in S&D, and obviously all 3 of his teammates are insane. So the one thing you can say for Hook and to put him in a top 10 is the guy's arrow's insane. Other than that, you can't really back it up with anything other than I think he's ridiculous, which I do too. That's why he's honorable mention in number 11. But I couldn't bump him out for Neptune. Neptune's the Major 1 MVP. He's been ridiculous. Dash's consistency has been unbelievable. One of the best snipers we have in the game. And I think he's having a ridiculous year in general. Ghosty, all the same things you could say about Hook, Ghosty also has. I mean, he has amazing comms. He plays the objective, which Hook does not in hardpoint, at least. Hook's the bottom 2 percentile of hardpoint time. I get it. He has an amazing arrow. That is partly due to him being able to play that way. Rancor's job is to get kills, to slay. He does that at the highest level in the league, rivaling Scrap, rivaling Abuza. Like, these guys have all been ridiculous. And then Shotzi, S&D is like a 1.2. We know what he brings to the table. So for me, I struggle to put him over any of those players. Certainly not the 3 players on his team, neither Ghosty or Neptune. I mean, it's just difficult for me to boost him into there. So I guess the one player people could argue would be Rencor, but at the same time, Rencor is absolutely insane. Like, if the stats do really buff for one person, it is Rencor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tough thing that people are having with Rencor is just, this is the classic thing with COD is like people just think they're just an aberration of a team. Like, they're playing well online, they go to an event, and it's like a percentage of that, and so they're getting discounted for it. But I still think he's contributing. The issue is always having done a million of these top 10 lists is like you start to realize that the first 5 or 6 are like pretty easy. And then it's like very subjective for the next 7 to 10 guys.
I think it's pretty easy to do the 10 this year. I agree with you. I think you're spot on, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, but you say that as if you had to struggle with Kyler. So how are you saying it's easy?
I had a struggle with Kyler because I know he has a big impact. But then when you recognize, like, okay, if we're doing a season top 10 and you're putting all these players on an island and for their individual performance on the season, you cannot put Hook above Rencor. Like, in my mind, there's just no way. Just given the body of work that they've had, and like. It's hard. I know a lot of people are struggling with like, but I watch Optic and they're winning all these games and he's doing all these amazing plays. Well, yeah, you're able to do that when you have an insane team. And he would do those types of plays on other teams. Would those teams find the same amount of success? Absolutely not, because they're not Optic. You know what I mean? So it looks better. And he is invaluable to that specific team, 100%. But I don't know. Rencor's job, he's doing at an absolute S play. He's overperforming his job. Rencor's team's good, which is why they're currently qualifying for champs. But I don't hate anybody who has them like around like 9 or 10 area. It just depends on what you value. Like him over Dashy, which I personally think's insane, but I could see that perspective. But if you have him above like 8, I think you're either one pandering or you're just lying.
Yeah, I agree with that. The tough thing that I think is going to be really interesting to stage is Dan and Nep. If gentlemen start playing better, like I think Nep may shoot back up this list if they work their way to top their higher this event. And same with Dan, was really good in Major 1. I think Dan didn't have a great stage 2.
No, Dan.
But I think the last. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna intercept there. Dan, the last month and a half, then has been ridiculous. Yeah. So when they were looking on the outside in of qualifying, everybody was kind of shitting the sheets. Dan was dragging them through those series to qualify them for the plan. He was ridiculous. You can go take a look. But Dan this year has been insane. And I think just everything he brings to the team as well. The same things you would discuss with Hook, which gets him to 11th here, Dan also has in his, I guess, intangible repertoire. And then his stats also are absolutely absurd. So yeah, Dan shocked me though. I kind of like a couple weeks ago, we like teased this idea. I didn't think Dan would be in it, but he's just remained consistent.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dan is consistent. Dan has been sort of, I think, their floor as a team. I think their X factor is Sib at the moment. I
agree.
But Dan's the AR that like provides a consistent floor for them.
So I want your take, Ben. So Joe Deceives at 3. I'm pretty firm in having him at 3. What are your thoughts on that? There was some pushback when I hopped in the flank on Joe at 3. I think most of them had him 5 or 6, which I think is like actually objectively wrong. But I'm curious to hear your take.
Can you repeat that real quick?
I have Joe at 3, and on the flank, a lot of them were saying like he's 5 or 6. I think that is absolutely that's ridiculous. What is your thoughts on Joe's placement on this list?
Joe is playing at an unbelievable level right now, and he's a big reason why. Like, I know like Kips has come in and played really well, and like Jamie had a great Major 3 event, but like if you dive into Joe's stats and just watch how Toronto plays, like Joe is playing at a level that we would put like Hydra back in the
Oh,
day in top 3 type
100%.
shit. Like I just think people are just punishing him because he's in that Toronto situation. But like, if I think this 5 is perfectly fine. I think Abuza over Scrap is fine. I think Joe in front of Abuza is fine, and I think Sim Merc 1-2 is like fine. I don't agree with my hosts about knocking Joe below the 2 ARs.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an AR meta up until this point, which obviously everybody gets graded based on, all of that. Which Shotzi's probably higher. Like in terms of straight stats, Shotzi probably wouldn't be in the top 10. He'd be close. He'd be 10 or an honorable mention if we were going straight up off stats. Same with Neptune, actually. But they both made it obviously huge impact in the search prowess from Shotzi, and then Major 1 MVP in Neptune. Who do you think has room to move up on this throughout this split, including the honorable mentions, or maybe somebody not even on it?
I think Paco is someone that can move up quite a bit on this list, and
I
same
agree.
with Nap. I think with this meta, the sub players I think have a lot more room to grow in this list. Because like we haven't really seen a Hydra takeover stage, but with Thieves' a soft schedule, the fact that I expect him to start playing better, I think you'll pop in. Like I think Nap with the way that he plays could really benefit from this. I think Gentlemates are starting to play a little bit better. Yeah, that's hard to say. I think the ARs are all like, I don't see like a Boozer getting worse, Scrap getting worse, Merc getting worse. Like they're all gonna kind of hold, but there might be some disruptors coming in from the SMG level.
100%, I agree. And then yeah, to the I want to address the Draza fans as well, because I personally think Draza is insane. I think I think he is kind of like Hook though. The ability to play a certain way based on the people around him. And he's playing his role to a T. I mean, the guy's got great comms. He makes huge impact plays. Like everybody's gonna remember the Scar overload in the grand final, the plays that he was making there for them. Like he's invaluable to that team. Abuza's outperforming him, and these guys on this list have just been generally more consistent. So it's difficult for me to thrust him into that spot. And then the Kips one, there were some fans, I wanted to address that as well, that think he should be in it. Kips' overload, like he was one who really stats and time held him out.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has a huge impact, whereas all the 10 top players do. But his overload is, I mean, he's 30th in overload, and he's very good at everything, and he's like kind of a jack of all trades. So that's the reason he's an honorable mention, because his versatility, sniper, SMG, and AR. If his overload got a bit better, or if they started to have a little bit more team success, then I think he could be thrusted onto this. But as stands right now, I can't put him above any of these guys on this list, or Hook or Hydra for that matter. Straight stats, Hydra would be top 10. He's had a bad arrow this year. I mean, there's been probably 6 or 7 times I've pulled up a VOD on here where Hydra's the guy that's made a bad play for them. So there's room for him to grow. But that's why these guys are kind of all three on the outside looking in as.
Yeah, but we've listen, having done a lot of these for like Breaking Point, like Draws is someone. Yeah, in this season, at the end of the season, if say FaZe win champs or they get runners up and to play at this level, like he will work himself into the top 10.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah.
Right now, Major 1, he was very iffy online, pulled up and played really good at the event.
Mm-hmm.
Major 2 online, he was super up and down until the end, then had a good event. So if you're just including just land stats, yeah, I think you would probably put him in the top 10. When you factor in the whole season, he's been an X Factor player and has just shown up when needed for the team. But he keeps
100%.
doing that. Like he keeps doing that in Atlanta. I think it's going to be tough to ignore at some point, and he'll work himself higher in this combo. It's just how it goes for a player in the role that he's in.
Yeah, I think Ben just kind of, explained that perfectly, right? Like, I think when you're doing a list like how I am for the season, it's a lot of people, it's easy to be like, well, all that matters is land. Well, yeah, then make a land list. You know what I mean? This is a season list where everything matters. And, in the grand scheme of everything, it's all qualification towards champs. And, you take them off their body of work, which I don't even know the actual number, but like, it feels like 70% of what we play is online, if not a little bit more. So, I mean, if we're weighing those things like equal, then yeah, to me, like I said, I'll openly embrace any debate when it comes to this. Yeah,
I agree with you. No, finish your thought.
I was gonna say, if Hook had a better stage 1, guys, he would have been on it. But I firmly believe he's on the outside right now, looking in.
I think for the Joe thing, like I think you guys are kind of missing the context here. Again, I don't need to re-explain that one. And then I think I will say this, and the last kind of comment is 04 is a weird player on this list because he obviously fried and was the MVP of the event, but he played like a majority of the matches coming into that, like through the whole season, not playing at a high level. So he may actually potentially, to answer your question from earlier, have the most room to grow.
So
because like another really solid stage might now catapult him like 10 spots higher.
So I could share some players that were like considerations that didn't make it. 04 was one. I spent quite a bit of time deciding if he would be an honorable mention or not. But like I think you just kind of explained it. Like he was a bit inconsistent and the online play kind of hurt him. And then there's a couple other players just like isolated that have just been performing really well, but like team success held them back, and like LAN performance. Lurks has been insane. Obviously couldn't make it here, but he is in the top 20. I think team success kind of hurts him, and then obviously the LAN performances aren't the greatest. And then even online, they've been like fringe qualification playing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's tough. But we got a lot of good players this year, man. We really do.
Someone in chat said Cell's a player who has been pretty good. I mean, SNE had a bad stage 2, but like again, his team got back-to-back top 8s. Like, you know.
Yep. So the MC
he's
one,
top 20, but he ain't top 10. You know.
Yeah, and MC's probably closer to 20 than he is 10. And the reason is for MC. You guys know I love MC. I think he's insane. I spent a lot of time talking about how good that guy is at Call of Duty, but there's a couple parts of this. Like their team loses their minds on LAN, and he's a huge part of it, and it shows up in the tape. And he was like the worst S&D player last split, like legitimately the worst. So it's
team. I mean, they have a lot of bad S&D players. Is the only thing I would argue. I think him and fucking Exon are tied for fucking dog shit tier S&D last split. Together at the hip, those two.
Yeah. And then
that's a key reason why that and we'll get to Falcons probably next. That's a big reason why this team is not realizing their potential currently. Yeah, and then the last thing we'll talk about here is Super one. Super is around the 15 mark for me. Super didn't make it to me because of one, the LAN performance, like low engagements. Also, like Sniper is extremely good taking over games online. Didn't see the same exact impact on LAN. And then on the second side of that is he's just like not as involved in putting down as much damage as Rancor. Yeah. And so, yeah, Super just barely to make it. I think Rancor's been better than him throughout the entire season. I think Super had a huge surge of performance in the stage 2 online qualifying split, where Rancor's been ridiculous all season long. So yeah. Yeah, I think the switch about Rancor is pretty insane. I still firmly think he should be top 10 for his body of work this year. You guys are absolutely hating on Rancor chat. I think people are hating on Rancor. That's one thing I'll back in on. I'd say where you put him in 6 through 10. Again, there's a lot of interpretation. I was always said about 6 through 10, but I think people are punishing him a little bit unfairly. We just have to. Are you going to keep doing this list every month, or are you doing it every split? Like, I'm gonna do it every split, I think. And I think the last thing I'll say is like, you guys gotta remember, I've laid it out for you. I broke it all down. You cannot just say like, oh, stats aren't everything. Some players that there's so many players that get dropped because they can't put down damage and get kills and they're rolling their team. Rencor is one of the guys that does that S tier level. Like some players are gonna demand a spot, and Rencor's just one of them, right? Like Shotzi demands a spot based on his impact in his play and has some like qualifying stats to back it up. It's just a combination of everything. So yeah, I think that's just like the key factor with him. But I don't know, is there anything else you want to discuss about the top 10? No, let's move on. All right, let's move on to a juicy one. The Falcons had an 0-2 start. Last week on the Codcast, myself and Ray Rambo, and really for the last month, I've been saying they need to keep their team. I fear they compromised their team with the trials, man. I think I'm on your side now. I think you were right, but I don't think you were right initially. Once they started the trials, you became right. And they compromised their team. What do you think they need to do? What are your thoughts on their performance this weekend? Because the match versus FaZe got kind of close, but I feel like they gave themselves 10 chances to win and then threw it all away all 10 times. So tell me your thoughts on their performance and like kind of where they go from here. Well, click map vetoes. I want to be tipped because like people were like, well, going into the weekend, they're like, how will this series play out? And I was like, yo, they're just gonna ban. The way this is gonna ban is like they're gonna just play the old maps because neither team seems to want to play the new maps. FaZe double ban Gridlock across the weekend, and
Because
so they gave
Gridlock's not
Falcons like
good.
a chance. And then like it gives Falcons a little bit of a chance. They got ran on that Colossus. FaZe are like, dude, would you consider FaZe maybe the best Colossus team in the game right now? Like,
What, Colossus Hardpoint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what they did to Optic in the final.
They might be.
How did they see what they did to Optic in the final and then yeah, let's pick Colossus? That's insane.
Because Falcons just go for the energy map one fucking cheese. They just think that they can now. And that was what they were doing a lot in stage one. But I think FaZe played that. The way that the pace dead FaZe played map one in this, in the same way we saw them when they played Saki Hardpoint, it's gonna be real tough.
Oh
But
yeah.
you want to close the vetoes for a second? The Fringe I thought was well played out of Falcons. I was talking to Clay, and they really played a lot of search, Chow's, a lot of shit over the course of the weekend. That was a well played Fringe out of Falcons. I think FaZe made a couple of mistakes, but I want to tip more. Falcons are very disciplined. Didn't give FaZe fucking anything.
Exit was good.
Yeah.
He was good.
Well, this is the problem for Falcons is we saw it a bit in stage 2. They are really good at getting these series to 1-1. But they are this is where they lose map 3s and 4s and get 3-1 on bad mistakes. They should have closed out this scar overload. They let FaZe cap and then win an OT at the end. They kind of fumbled that. And then the scar hardpoint was a very awkward map. If you watch the mini map in that map, the amount of like weird ass split spawns, and it's not saying that split spawns were like shouldn't happen, but they were happening because of kill timings. And then it was just an odd map. But Falcons made I think a number of questionable decisions at the end when they could have won that map. Like if you want to really drill down to the end of it,
Yeah,
like,
we'll watch some VOD on it because I agree with you, Ben. They gave themselves like so many different times to like ice the game and just kind of threw it away. And it was the same thing kind of with the overload, like the sustain that Simp had by Motel Stairs. It's like, dude, we just got to clean them up faster. So let's pull up the VOD and let's kind of watch what Ben's talking about a little bit because I got some. I haven't shown Ben yet, but like it's plays like this. Like we get down to the end of the game here. Let me mute the casters. And I remember watching this live. I haven't watched this yet. I found the spot. So right here, we know how many times I talk to you guys, like the end game setup here, right? Like, okay, we can just trap them back green on rotation P2, give ourselves like a good position. So right here, right? When they flip these out, let me rewind a little bit more so I can discuss with you guys as it goes. So 4 people alive. We kill one inside of Delhi. We kill one, or Selim's going around. He kills the guy in blue that's anchoring. We kill the other one, Delhi. And then bam, 4 dead, right? They're all back green. We have them absolutely blended. All right, Salim's watching the deep white wall pinch. Obviously, they're not going to be there just yet. As soon as this guy dies, why does MC not go up towards P2? There's 19 seconds left and like help out, or at least go Delhi to watch mid cut. He's just holding this far wrap back, and you see they get into like this stagnation on rotation to P2, and it's just not clean. Right. And then like 3's like, okay, 3's like, okay, I got to go all the way back around to P2. All right. Sounds good. And it stops them from getting like unobstructed time and like a clean setup. And keep watching how this plays out. So then exit spawns behind. He's like, okay, I got to pick up this wide pinch. Right. He goes all the way around and it just like gets awkward. We're not getting clean time here. They should be getting, for lack of better words, fucking blended if you're FaZe. Right. This is like the good teams do this. This has already been 15 seconds of white time. They should be like on game point right now. So like to me,
but here's what they should do though. I want to actually like what they should to back it up, because I don't mind that if required, you still need to hold this pinch. The problem to your point though is you know that they're spawning back green, but we're not watching the cut. We have no idea if anyone actually.
You know who should be watching mid cut, Ben? Celium. He should be, as soon as 3 dies, he should be jumping down and he should be getting ready to trade this.
Yeah, they should double store, and then when fucking AG comes off a spawn, he has to pick up pinch, fucking so be it. But like they need to set layers here to get info. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, this is, to me, this is just like it bleeds into the P2, and this is the stuff that I was showing you guys after the LAN. Like it's a combination of like they have these rules of like how they want to play stuff. And like when everything goes right and everybody's getting kills, it's so good. It looks so amazing. But when they're not, and it's like a dogfight and you're fighting another team that's really fucking good that can kill, this is what it looks like. And now look, they get overwhelmed here. They don't get any of this time. And obviously ends up coming down to the wire, but you could have just iced the game. I think that the Falcons camp is I mean, this is something that I would have been okay with seeing at Major 1. I mean, we're in the Major 3 split. I'm just not okay with seeing it at this point, especially on a map that's been out.
Yeah, it's just tough. And then they kind of fucked the end game situation. It's like, again, this is my thing with Falcons. It's just they do a good job, I think, like getting in these hardpoint maps and really controlling the flow. But when they need to make plays for the win, they've really struggled this year at that. They're just not really super clean at it. And this is one where, look, I don't know if they win the Plaza S&D after they win this map. You know what I'm saying? We saw them play Plaza earlier in the weekend and they got fucking boobobs. You know, and I expect FaZe to be a good search team. Like, but like, man, like they really should have forced this to 5. FaZe were getting cooked for a majority of this map, if I remember. Like they got outslayed. Like FaZe got outslayed pretty badly, right?
Well, no, it was kind of back and forth. The thing was just all the kills came in on the Grandma's Hill. Falcons had a couple of really good Grandmas. But I'm just even mind blown that they lost here. Like nade comes in on the Kismet. It's just so much going wrong. Even on the rotation towards here. Like Exit's making an awesome play here. Like applying pressure. The nade comes in from Celium. Like, bro, everything's just so unlucky. Like it's just like
it's so unlucky because MC, like I'm sure someone's yelling for a trophy, so MC goes back, throw a trophy, throws a shitty trophy, and then Exit doesn't really hold this very aggressively, and it's like it's all bro. And Dylan and Tash talked about this yesterday. Like when you're playing as bad as they are, like every decision everybody makes is like the wrong decision. It feels like
it is.
Like, you're just so in your head that like everybody's just fucking tweaking.
Yeah,
and like they're just not trusting shit. So. And yeah, I mean, it's tough with Falcons because like going into the stage, last stage, they were a very good respawn team. Their overload's been pretty good all year. They were probably like a top 4 overload team on the season. Their hardpoint is very good last stage if you remove lane.
Very good.
But the one thing they have sucked at all year is S&D. They're coming to stage, you're like, okay, they'll adapt to this new SMG thing, play a pace. The hardpoint's been really iffy these first 2 matches. The S&D, they split. And the overloads, they've split. And it's like, now it's like, bro, it's like, what do you do? It's like, you can focus search, but now your respawn's falling off.
Now your respawn's falling off. Yeah, it sucks, man.
I just think they just kill, bro. I think, and this is why I said with the trial thing, it's like, I think they have made a lose-lose situation even more of a lose-lose situation now. Yeah.
You remember
they
what
already had to make a tough choice, and they made the choice even tougher now. What they've done in the last week.
You remember what I said before the split happened on the last episode? I said, and basically, when you decide like we're making a roster change, it's because you're deciding we can't fix something, right? That's how roster changes happen. And every roster change I've made has, more or less been that. Like, I don't think I can get him to do this, or we can't fix this. So when they decide to like trial QK, it's because they think, okay, we can't fix our S&D. And the decision makings out of these guys, we're gonna commit to this roster change. They don't commit to it, so like to run it back, you're kind of like it's an admission of like we're just okay with where we were and hoping that this is enough, and that we can like marginally improve, right? So the decision from the jump was just already not good, and then the trials obviously compounded the issues that they've had. And there's clearly been an over focus on S&D. So if they I don't know, man. I don't know. I just, with all the other teams getting better, with the new maps getting added and those teams growing, I don't know if Falcons can get back to where they were pre-Major 2.
Let's be honest about this team, Hard Truths. And I'm also going to be hard truths about the org. And if people at Falcons feel otherwise, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to have you guys on. They were always an awkward team fit. When you looked at this initial roster when it was built, we didn't know what we had with Exton. He doesn't really have an identity as a player. AG's got a very distinctive play style they have to play around. MC's always got concerns. As talented as he is, he plays too fucking slow. And Kids can be the bulldog, but you don't always get the bulldog from Kids. And sometimes you get the one that's a fucking chihuahua. And then you put that all together and you're putting Kids on AR. You're like, I don't know. Communication, I don't know. And I think they were playing decent, adapted to this game like pretty well off the rip.
Yeah.
But then you start to see now how the puzzle pieces don't fit. And then you get to a point where after the stage 2, you're like, I think this team should make a change. But here's the problem with Team Falcons in almost every esport. This is not just a specific Call of Duty complaint. Like this is, you follow Falcons in all the esports, it all kind of summarizes to the same thing, which is the way they make decisions about rosters and players is super top down from upper management. which I assume also is also coming from their investors as well, right? And it's tough in some esports like COD because normally on these big orgs, like the player coach is driving a lot of that roster change, and then management is signing off if they don't have a hard veto, but they're letting those guys and gals kind of manage that process, right? And they help with buyouts or
Right.
whatever. But I think that's the problem with Falcons now is it's like
Too much managerial influence.
Especially the awkward situation that's here where there isn't a good, like it's not a clear roster change situation. Whatever decision they make is a lose-lose. They decided to kick the can on it and hope that it would like work itself out. But I think they cooked the chemistry with the trial and then pump faking it. And now they went 0-2. Like you just got to rip the Band-Aid off at this point. And I don't think they're going to. I think my prediction is that they're going to run this roster back this week. And I think that if they don't get top 4 at this thing, like the pressure is only going to build externally on this team to do something about it because they're not in a great standing spot. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Carolina won't get their shit together and Falcons won't lose enough ground that like they'll still be in it in the 8th spot going to the next stage if they do end up actually making a roster change and punting like all the way to the end of it. But if Carolina figure it out and outplace Falcons significantly at this stage, Falcons will go into the last stage of the season in 9th.
100%.
Which is not where you want to be.
Yeah, so I think like I kind of gather from what you're saying, basically everything I've heard from the Falcons camp of like, there's just like a type of team that they want. And like, obviously it seems like they want, you know, Saudi representation on the team. And there's a lot of influence from, you know, higher ups, which can make roster changes and stuff difficult, especially like the thing like a forced trial, which we don't exactly know where that came from. If that was, you know, from higher up or not. Like Ben said, we'd love to speak with somebody from Falcons if they ever want to hop on. But yeah, it does seem like this was kind of a miss on the Riyadh Falcons organization side, handling this moment in time for their roster. But I agree with you. If they don't have a good minor, they're kind of screwed. And this match being as close as it kind of was, it might, you know, give them a little bit of hope to run it back for this minor. But if they get outplaced by Carolina, I mean, let's go look at the Falcons schedule coming up. Like maybe it gets a bit easier for them. But they are in a very precarious position.
They're on the face side of this minor group, which is going to be real tough to run that back.
So they have Surge, Miami, and Cloud9. And like Cloud9 should be a win, but like you probably for them, like they need to win all 3 of these, right? Like, like this isn't like a we need to win 2. They need to win all 3 of these matches.
2 and 3 is fine.
2 and 3 gets you in.
It just but like you're not the difference between 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 and what group you get into. It's like super hard to predict. You obviously want to win all 3 to get the points, but like so like they want to win 3 straight in order to go in this event just for the sake of their fucking mental. But like they lose one, they say to Miami, but they beat Vancouver and C9. Like it's not going to convince anyone that they're better, but like I'll have some actual fucking momentum going into the event.
Well, this match doesn't look easier anymore.
I'm not as sold on Vancouver. We'll get to that.
Yeah, that's our next topic. This match is a fucking banger. Falcons Miami. I actually can't wait for that match.
Yeah, and then C9 they'll body, but it's like you don't want to go 0-4 and then you get a pity fucking match in the stage, and it's like, well, we played a C9 team. It's basically a fucking amateur team. Like, I don't know. I think they cooked their team chem. I think they've got to make some tough decisions, and they got to do it soon. They may just fucking keep kicking the can on it, and it's going to cook their situation. And long term, man, and I talked about this yesterday on the flank, they're heading towards a very difficult decision of like, we've got so many Saudi prospects. It could be good. Don't know if they'll pay on the CDL. Do we go in that direction? Because that's what our core goal is as an org, or do we want to go let Cell recruit his boys and make the fucking super team?
How do we know what their core goal is? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because when
we don't.
To me, when they signed Cellium, it said we want to win now. But like every action that they've taken, like with this roster so far, hasn't, like, I guess with the trials and everything, hasn't.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
When they signed Cellium, you didn't say they were trying to. You didn't think they were trying to win now.
They're still trying to win now. The problem is that if I had to make a read, I've been in the scene long enough. I think I have a pretty good read on this situation. I think they're trying to give Exnet as much time to develop as possible. The problem is that it's getting to a point where like he's just a net drag on this team compared to other players. He's the obvious weak link to drop. The problem when you drop Exnet is
obvious. I don't know.
I mean, who would you drop?
I mean, I just I mean, it just depends on how their practice is going. Because like we saw in the last split, they were really good online. Like their matches, and Exton was playing great.
Yeah, I don't
So
give.
I don't know
But
if
I
it's
don't
as
give a
much
fuck
as
with that. Who
online. It
cares?
all depends on how their practice is going.
Yeah,
Because
but
obviously going
X's
into
been the
LAN,
worst player at LAN, and neither is AG's has been that good. In fact, none of them have been that good at LAN.
none of them have
But
been that good.
Exton's been their worst player, and the problem is that if you drop Exton, if you bench him, I think they super piss off all the MENA fans and probably some people within the org that are again super invested in developing Exton,
Yeah.
right? But if you drop AG, I think you lose a lot of confidence out of kill and selling kiss, and you kill your team essentially for doing that. Like they have again put themselves in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, they
And
have.
the I would say of the two options, unfortunately, they've got to prepare themselves for the Exton drop because it's the one with the least resistance. The AG drop and bringing QK in, I just think this team will still underperform. So it's like I don't know. They're in a very tough spot and they haven't really helped themselves out.
I mean, I could see it from like their perspective, where like, okay, if we drop Exton and we don't start winning, that is, I mean, and they just remain the same. I mean, that'd be awful for them, especially with like how important Exit is to that, region. You know what I mean? So it has to be for the right player. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll run it back and just try to figure it out. And yeah, ongoing story. We'll revisit this after the minor, but they desperately need a good minor tournament, like a top 4 guys, just for morale and to get a little bit of pressure and the cat off some of their backs. But let's keep it pushing. The next team that we need to talk about is a team of success story this week, the Vancouver Surge. The Surge turkey out there is happy somewhere. 2-0 start. Nero has fixed most of their issues seemingly, and this meta really suits their team. What are your thoughts on the Vancouver Surge and their ceiling as somebody who has not been a fan of that camp since the start of the season?
Well, my result is they had a great week, but they played Carolina and G2, who I don't think are elite level teams. What will convince me is if Vancouver make a good top 4 run in this minor tournament, then I'll hop in because I can see how potentially with Nero coming in the honeymoon, this meta might fit them. But I do want to see them play fucking better teams. They went to game 5 with Carolina. They showed a really nice applause at the end of it, which you love to see. And they want G2, who should have made a fucking roster change before the fucking stage. So I want to see them play Gentlemen. I want to see them play in Miami. I want to see them play a FaZe or Toronto or an Optic. So I know exactly where they sit. But is it possible they've now put themselves in where we go into the Pro-Am and we can get like a legit top 6? Yeah. I think they're trending in that direction now.
Yeah. I thought we saw some good stuff. I mean, for what this Vancouver Surge roster is, I think, looking at it, this meta definitely looks good for them. Gwyn back on SMG is like, come on, man. Like we interviewed Gwyn and he was like, I think I've been playing well on the AR. And it's like, dude, his impact on the sub, it's just way more than it is with an AR in his hand. I mean, you can see it. Like the guy went on a 15 streak on this gridlock. Huge clutch at the end with the pinch with TJ. TJ's making some cerebral plays, and he's only able to do that because they're actually finally getting kills, right? Bringing Nero in. He's a guy who can actually go out and like win a 1v in space and get away, and it just helps them. Especially Gwyn on the SMG. The kid's a demon. So I think we saw that in the S&D as well. Looking at this, like Nero, I mean 7-6, but there was one huge round where it was just Estrio mid. Nero just ran through pillars, killed him, and got out with his life. I'm like, okay, so that's why they picked up Nero. Like, he can do shit like this, right? Nero's he's inconsistent, but he's got good gunny. He can make good individual plays. So yeah, I think the Surge team, like their floor just got way higher. Where they're at, like in terms of the whole league, I'm not sure yet. As you just said, like they beat G2 and they beat Carolina, right? G2's kind of a more impressive win, but G2 feels like they're kind of just like stagnant gatekeep at this point as well. So yeah, I think we got to see. Let me look at the minor bracket real quick, who they'll be playing. Where's Vancouver? So they have Riyadh. I mean, that's a winnable game, Ben. Like, you tell me Vancouver can't go out there and beat Riyadh round 1? Like, that'd be a huge win for them.
Yeah, they definitely can. The problem is, can they beat FaZe, who are an elite Surge team? I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's tough.
That's the thing. If they want to like, listen, this is what I'm saying. Vancouver right now, if they were to play this ball at LAN in the Pro-Am format, they will get out of group and they can reasonably get top 6. Or are they going to beat a Miami or FaZe or a Gentlemates or a Thieves or an Optic? We don't know, or Toronto. And that's what this minor might help us, because if they go out and they beat Falcons and they beat FaZe and let's say they win or lose and you know they get top 4 like that, and then I'll be like, okay,
Yeah,
you know what, these Vancouver guys have a little something
fair.
when they're out. If they beat Falcons and get 3-0, 3-1 by phase, I'm just gonna sit here and be like, well, they're off the bottom. They're top 6 if they keep this form up, and they can actually, you know, make it deep in the tournament instead of being out on Friday.
I agree. I mean, to be like good team, you got to cause like an upset here and there in like the high pressure situations, right? Where it's like, yeah, it's like at some point, you know, these guys got to overperform, put themselves in a good spot. And if they get top 4 in this minor, you know, we'd be looking at them like, hey, maybe they could do something. Like a top 4 in the minor and like a top 4 on land, and all of a sudden these guys are in the champs race. What are they at right now? I don't think it's like super terrible, is it? They're at like 85 points. Let's go regular season.
They need basically, yeah, but they need to basically get like realistically top 4, top 3.
Well, they need to knock out Riyadh, and then they need to get points. And I think only the top 4 get points. So like this would be like this time for a Surge fan or the Surge camp is incredibly important. Coming off a 2-0, you have the team that's gatekeeping at 8 in your way, and you just got to upset the major 2 champs for some points. You know what I mean? So if you're selling the story, it's written out there in front of you. Like there is a path for the Surge. There really is. But it just requires some more winning. But hey, nevertheless, I'm just happy we don't have to watch this team go out and get cooked and choke and play 8s every series, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Our G2 in Purgatory, Ben, 0-2 versus Vancouver and Paris, and the remaining schedule is the Thieves, Boston Breach, and Miami Heretics. I did see that they beat Optic and Scrims yesterday, and everybody was playing well. So talk to me about it.
About G2?
Yes.
My concern with G2 is like they always had an AR weak duo coming in this stage. Like that's just been the big problem. I know their subs are not consistent, but like you're not going to mess with Crump and Estriel. It's going to be hard to get better out there, and like you're just going to live with that all season. But their AR duo was like the obvious pack-a-punch if they wanted to kick it to the next level, because one of Mamba or Skies is getting shit on in every series.
Yeah.
And they're like the classic team, and Rocker have done this throughout the years. They're the classic, we got top 4 at the first event, and that's where we peaked, and we just never figured it out after. And it's like, well, they should pack a punch before everybody catches up to them. And they had a really bad weekend. It just felt like this meta doesn't suit them. You have to play super quick, and you're putting Mamba and Skies in a position where they got to play like at a breakneck pace. And I don't know. I think both of them should be the slowest player on the team that they're on. And I just think that one of them has got to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that scram. They played a little bit better, but I know Optic. That was also a weird scram. I don't want to think too much about yesterday because people were also fucking with attachments. I think at one point Kyler was running a Dravik in that scram. Like,
yeah,
I think the Optic guys were just trying to use it to figure out like what the fuck the meta is now with these fucking attachment GAs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So a good weekend from G2, and we'll have an interesting convo, but I don't know, bro. I'm in camp. They need to make a fucking change and get it.
What do you get?
Out.
What do you get for like a Skies or a Mamba? Because I mean, Skies spent the like majority of this year playing really well. I mean, Mamba would have been the guy, I guess, up until like these last couple of matches, right? So one, you would have to decide which one you move, and two, you'd have to find like a suitable replacement for like what you're losing. Because I'm assuming Skies is like the search brain behind this team, where they spent up until the major basically being a top 4 search team. That has recently fallen off because I believe they've lost. Here, let me pull up their team page, but I believe they've lost like 4 of their last 5 searches. So like, it's just like they're in like a kind of a pickle, Ben. Like there'd have to be like kind of an obvious replacement, and I just don't know if there is. Is there anybody that comes to mind for you?
I think this is a perfect spot for Luca. I think you give Caesar someone that has raw potential who can both run a sub and an AR. He might be a little rogue, you know, he's got a little ego, a little edge to him, but Caesar is vibey, you know, and I think Caesar can be a whisper to a player like that. And I'm just trying to think about scenarios in which G2 don't tread water. I'm trying to think about a pickup we can where like Estriel, Kremp, and Aluka are just absolute wandons on the map, and Caesar's just sitting there like controlling the troops, and they can actually make a fucking run.
But what do you lose with that?
That's who I would get.
But for Skies, or do you keep Skies?
Well, I would keep Caesar over Mamba.
Okay.
Based on the body of record from the season, I would do that.
So
the one thing you lose is like, I don't know how disciplined a trio of Kremp, Estriel, and Aluka is, but they'll fucking go, and like they may just overwhelm people.
it could.
So that would be my kind of thought process. I also don't know what Aluka's visa situation's like right now. I think it's probably sorted, but like he was in Europe. I think he's back now, right? Because he's playing in NA Challengers today. But that's who I would. Otherwise, you're picking up like a Wake or something. You're picking up like a retread who's gonna be better than Mamba, but like, how much better are they though? Like, you know what I'm saying, like they're like Wake's talented, but now like Wake's. I'm gonna be honest. The box that Wake's getting put into is that he is just like a replacement level player, and like he's never really top ending. He's a really passive, quiet guy in the room. Like he's just he plays a role, but that's not what Minnesota needs. They need to pack a punch Mamba and get an absolute shooter.
So let me give my take, because I think it reinforces what you're saying. When I watch G2 and when I watch them play the game in all the game modes, they're making great plays. Like their team, they know what they're doing. Clearly their practice is pretty good. They have simply just lacked firepower, bro. Like legitimately. And when I look at like replacements and like midseason changes, I don't think replacing Caesar's the answer. Because when they did have the firepower, when like Fremp was obviously taking over and Estriel, I think like, end of stage 1 and, decent amount of stage 2 was like playing pretty consistently good. Like Skies is playing well. He's like a product of his environment. They just need another like X Factor player that can take over a game when like maybe Estriel's not having a great series or Kremp's not, the Don Juan. As the game grows and like teams start to catch up and get better, like it's just difficult to have every single series take over from the SMGs, right? So I think I'm on board with you. Like I think Mama's a solid player, but in order for them to get through to that S tier to make an actual deep run, they do need more firepower. They need a person in that position that can pop the fuck off and like take a series over for them. And Mamba has not been that guy. Like he's a good player, very solid. Like he plays the game the right way. Like when we go to listen-ins, like he sounds awesome. And he's like, he feels like somewhat like reliable, but just a lack of firepower is going to stop them from like beating the top teams consistently. And we're starting to see that.
You want to know why I also think it's a good play for Luka?
Why?
Because if I'm FaZe, I'm Crowder, I'm Paul Hamilton and Eric Hamilton, I'm Kason. I trust that if I were to loan a Luka to this team for a couple of months, that Caesar Skies and Dan Looney are going to give me a very good evaluation of how this player would actually play at the pro level, so I know how to navigate this situation going forward. They're going to lay it on me and not sugarcoat it, and let me know if they think this guy is a pathway to develop, if there's some real yellow or red flags that he's going to have to work on. So I know that if I should move on from him in this offseason, and because he'll probably be in demand if he plays decent, or is he someone that I should hold on to an asset and loan off further if we're making like a super team? Like, the way to navigate that Luka situation, like you actually let him go to the next step of his development. Is how I look at it. FaZe, I would heavily be put. If I were FaZe, I'd be calling G2 and be like, "Do you want a Luka? Like, we're down to loan him out to you."
Yeah, if I was FaZe, I would do that. It just all depends on the interest from the G2 side of things. I know they're really close outside of the game. But yeah, I mean, listen, if they want to commit to this team for the rest of the year, they're just going to be in the spot where they have to be dominant at S&D, right? And right now. And this is why their fall off has happened since the major. Basically, they're 5-5 in S&D. They batting 500. It has to be better than that for them. They have to be an elite search team. They've shown us like kind of their ceiling, and they're just striving to get back to that. So even if they don't make a change, it's not all like over with for them, but it would require the search to get back to where it was. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with G2. I'm on board with you. And then also, their hard point. I mean, they're just losing. Like they're just losing HP. This is my point. You know what I mean? It's like if Kremp and Estriel aren't like taking over games, it's just this is what it's looking like.
They're getting boob bop.
They need more firepower.
Back.
Yeah,
bro, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Rotation 1%. I mean, bro, look at the KD 0.68, 0.89, 0.8, 0.75. Like they're not shooting back.
Yeah, they're really not. Yeah, they're just getting slammed, bro.
And that's the issue. They need to get someone with roller skates on, because we know that Kremp and fucking and Estriel can do it, and they pack a punch. And yeah, like they're gonna need to make sure they're still good at S&D wherever you get. But like that's how they're not going to just get eighth and sneak into champs and get double rounded and be useless the rest of the season and actually, do what Minnesota Rocker maybe did in Cold War, where you make a mid-season change and maybe, you're a factor at the end of the season. And I don't know if they're going to get fucking second in champs. They could get third or fourth. Not impossible.
I think that they missed a little bit with not entertaining stuff post major, man, because like it's worse than I thought it was. Like they're 50-50 in S&D now. They've lost 4 straight overloads on all 3 of the maps. They've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight hardpoints where you just point out they're getting blown out. I mean, other than this 249 one, but like, yeah, bro, they're in a tough spot. G2, not points wise, but just like morale wise. Like, how do we break through that next tier they've been hovering on? But we'll revisit them after the minor. We'll talk a bit more about them. Next team we got to talk about is Koi. I just got some vapor rubbing my eyes, so I'm gonna rub my eye.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's burning. All right, so
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about Toronto. Let's get into it.
Same, bro. Toronto Koi 6-2 map count. Ben. They have Optic, Vancouver, and C9 left in the schedule. So I mean, potential to get a very high seed going into the Pro-Am. Is this a championship run inbound for Toronto? What are your thoughts on Toronto? How they've been playing? Let's say the last 30 days. Kind of talk about this team because I like this. I like this squad right now. I think Kips is really good, extremely versatile. I think Joe's having an MVP season right now. You look at Joe's like overall stats, and then his advanced metrics are fucking through the roof, and they're having fun now after the confidence they got from the major. And I also, the last thing I'll say is I think this current meta and map set actually is like helping them a lot. So a lot of good things in the Koi camp. Talk to me about Koi, Ben.
I mean, here's my thing with Koi is like I think they've gotten back to where they were last year, which is if they pull up to an event now, I feel really good about them factoring into like making it to Sunday. Although it's a bit more competitive than last year because I think Gentle Mates and Thieves, it's only room for 4 teams. So someone's not eating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The only problem with Toronto with Jamie, I just like, bro, go pull up the fucking scoreboard from that last series.
Which one? The Boston one?
The Boston one.
I mean, all right, go ahead, but I have something to say about this too. But go ahead.
I just like, there's situationals and there's ways and there's a reason why maybe you look at this and you're like, how did Jamie drop significantly less damage in his team? But you also watch him play on the map, and I just don't know if the way they play is efficient enough with how slow Jamie is to actually like consistently beat a Phaser or an Optic in a winner or losers final. And I'm just concerned with Toronto that they're in a good spot to get like top 3s. But like, are they going to crack a final? I guess if the other 3 fry fucking enough, but championship team, hell no. I think in order to do that, they'd have to pack a punch Jamie, in my mind.
See, I'm not there with you on that because I think just the way I view stuff a little bit different. Like I think of like if I was actively playing and I was a team where I'm like, okay, our floor should be a Sunday. We have to play well that day and upset one of these teams. I mean, there's only so many teams that can be top 3. You know what I mean? And if you're looking at the trajectory of this team right now, it does feel like it's like a Sunday mainstay going forward, assuming like they continue down this path. And then we just got to figure out a way to game plan well enough to be able to beat the Phase or the Optic when that situation arises. And I don't think that that's a bad thing at all, going into a series and being like, all right, boys, Joe and Kips, the stars of this team, you're going to have to play well to beat an Optic or to beat a Phase, right? And obviously Insight has to make the right plays. And I think they've put enough on tape and shown us enough from the major that like there is a place where this team can win with Jamie. Obviously this series, I saw a lot of people talking about it. I don't think you could take stats from Insight from a series versus Boston just because like they won, it's Boston. Like, and when we went to listen with them, they were like laughing, and Kips literally like purposely made a troll play on the den. I can pull it up, but like Joe flanks on P4 around P2, shoots them in the back, and then Kips and listen was like, I'm gonna do it again, and just does it. It doesn't work, and then they just start laughing. So there's that element to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think Koi like realistically, like who are you gonna replace Jamie with right now? And also they're like playing well. Why would you change anything up? So I think it's just like more so like that's a narrative that's not like based in reality. Like I don't think he's gonna get dropped. Like,
on. They're not going to drop Jamie. I know how this shit works with
Yeah,
Toronto.
they're just not.
At this point, they got third. They're good for a whole year. They're not going to drop Jamie. They should have had Byron Nasty to fucking begin with on the team for Jamie, and that probably would have fucking helped. But like at this point, who else are you getting in challengers that better than Jamie? There are people that would get more kills, but like I know I've been told how Jamie is in the practice room. Like there's a reason he's still on this team because he definitely goes hard every day. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I just think like they're just good again. They've got a nice floor now as a team.
Look at the plays they're making.
A championship team. I just feel like other teams have more win conditions, and theirs are just very narrow. They're going to need a weekend where like the other three guys are just the top three players on a given weekend, and that's how they're going to beat an Optic or a FaZe.
Well, look at what FaZe just did, right? It's like FaZe is like a good team with a pretty consistent floor, correct? You would agree with that? And then they're going to get to a Sunday. And then when they get to Sunday, well, 0-4 overperformed and you win a chip. That's like kind of what you need with Toronto. That's what you need to win. That's what you need to win a championship. And like, that's how you look at.
But going in but FaZe also going into that weekend was an elite search team. And once they figure out how to be more consistent and respawn, like, yeah, and I know in the finals, like obviously they lost the S&D, the first one, but it's like, I just think that FaZe already had the base in search, which wins chips. I look at Toronto's S&D, and like they've got a couple of good maps, but they aren't yet a top 3 S&D team in my book just yet.
So, but the primary,
I will say Toronto's best game mode is Overload. They've been an elite Overload team all season.
The primary, they have been elite Overload. Now they're elite at Hardpoint, like elite, and they have wins on both of the new maps. And I believe they're 8-2 in their last 10 with like their only losses to Optic. And the last part of that is I just want to address the last part of that because I've heard people say this too. Is that with you're talking about the search thing? I like realistically, if they were to change like Insight, it would be for a buff and firepower, which doesn't address your S&D at all. So I mean, you kind of just like laid it out for me of like, in my mind, of like the argument to keep the roster. But this is like the play I wanted you to watch real quick before we move on past this. Is like, like this is obviously this is kind of an Nate's play. It's good because he finds a couple and they have full control. But like these are the type of plays that like they're making against Boston. Kips is like, all right, fuck it. And he's like, I'm going to do the same exact shit. Like this to me is like super trolly. And then they just start laughing. And like, I don't know. You just can't take Insight stats from like this series.
They ain't doing this against
exactly.
Maybe they are. And I'm fine with that being the MO of this team. Like if they're getting on and Jamie's the adult and the other three are fucking having, well, the two of them are having fun. Like, I'm fine with that being their identity as a team. And to your point about Toronto's hard point, because the people keep saying, why do people keep playing them on Den? I think people don't realize how good Toronto is at Scar.
Yeah,
and that's why they're getting Dens. So nobody wants to play them on fucking Scar. So then they're getting this Den in every series. And like, they're 9-6 on Den. They're not fucking incredible, but you look at that, they're 7-1 on Scar.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play them on that map. So, and you'd love to get them on other maps, but it's what it is.
And their Gridlock and Saki both look good as well, right? So their hardpoint's just good. I mean, they lost 2 to FaZe here, 25 and 10 points. And this was that Sunday? That was Sunday, right? 20.
Yeah, that was
so like this was when FaZe was on their run where they won and blitzed the finals. So like, dude, Toronto's right there. I'm with Ben in terms of like the focus has to be S&D. The Plaza looked good. I like what we saw there. Fringe not as good, but we did do the interview. I don't know if you listened to the interview we had. I think it was with Toby. And I asked him because I noticed that in their offensive rounds, and I'll pull it up here for you guys, something to look out for Toronto matches going forward. In their offensive rounds, Insight was playing a lot more aggressive, like kind of what you saw stage 2 with Super Sniper. Like off angles, aggressive in the push on offense. And I think that's going to be good for them going forward. And he said that's something that they're really focused on this split. And maybe that changes their S&D and like improves their offense and gets them to a point where they're winning those.
Yeah. I think Toronto's an interesting team. I'm not convinced that they're going to make a final because I think there's a lot of other really good teams. But like they are a factor. Are they a championship team? I don't think so. Are they a contender? Yes. The Kips move is paid out.
Yeah.
And Jamie had a really good land. But the question is like, it was that Jamie England. I was like, fuck it, because I might get dropped buff. Or we getting that version of Jamie in Atlanta and Paris. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know what team is getting booed probably quite a bit at that fucking event is
Paris?
Toronto's not one of the teams they're getting cheered for.
Yeah. they gotta
so
perform
we'll see
here in
how they do on
Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also, this is the last thing, like the UK buff where like, yeah, it definitely matters, but at the same time, players that are on the cusp of getting dropped typically don't perform that well. So that's a great sign from Jamie. Like under pressure, he's able to really perform. It's just like, it's good for team morale. Like he's an anchor. And for those of you like fans who are watching and stuff who haven't ever interacted with the pros, like, dude, Jamie's a consummate professional. Like he's a really good dude and easy as hell to work with, like for sure. So I think they commit to this team, and I do think they can get to championship caliber, and I think it's on the horizon. So I think that's the only place where we disagree a bit. But yeah, let's move on. So Boston, or what are Boston's options, Ben? Purge has not been great. I mean, the last series showed a little bit more life, but I think it's kind of obvious at this point, like they needed to make more than one change. What are your thoughts on Boston, and like, can they salvage the current situation that they're in, and how do they do it?
Oh. I mean, they just have to drop Purge, bro. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, I'll listen. I know for a fact that Purge is very good when it comes to practice. As far as like what he brings intensity, like cares. You know what I'm saying? Like he tries, and I think that's why they've been so willing to keep this going. But like, you just got like, bro, like, dude, it's only been one example in the history of COD, which is that 2-event run with Dylan Theory where someone just dropped the 0.8 and like a team won. It's just like outside of that. I mean, when was the last time that happened?
It's probably been a while.
That might be it. It might be a list of one. So I'm saying like it just is what it is, bro. Like people are gonna say, oh, like I'm roasting him because he cooked me and called me restarted in December or whatever. Like,
wait, why did you guys have beef?
Like, no, he came in and didn't like what I was saying in December about his performance, but he's
got to play better. Like, let's tell him straight up. Like,
but it's at this point enough, bro. Like if they want to actually do something the rest of the season, they have to drop him. They have just no choice.
Bro, there's time. Yeah, exactly. Like you're saying, it is what it is. Like it is what it is. And I'm never trying to just like lay into players. Obviously, I've been there. I've had splits and like parts of seasons where I haven't played well, and it's fucking tough, dude. It's super hard to get out of that rut, and I totally get it. But sometimes you just gotta, grind your way back up. And for Purge, he's just in that spot. I mean, obviously the team situation hasn't been the greatest, but he's been giving ample opportunity. Another iteration of this roster, and it's just not going great. I mean, he's having way too many like super stinkers. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like a consistent 0.9. It's like he's got somewhere he's just like not even choosing to show up, which is like one kind of sucks for that team, because I do feel like they've made overall some good additions, like from the organization standpoint. Like bringing in Nasty, I thought was a great decision. Being early on Spart, like Spart's a solid player, like a good decision. So I feel for the Boston fans, but yeah, they've been way too slow to address the Purge situation. And I fear they're letting, a lot of players get picked up and scooped up, and now they're not even like, if I'm a challenger player, is this a desirable location at this point? They might not even make champs. Like they're in a tough spot.
Well,
yeah, they're not. They're at 60, bro. Like
it'll be desirable depending on the EWC situation, because we're getting that point where like one more bad split and Boston's not going to champs, so they're playing for EWC. And if you're a challengers player on a team that maybe isn't necessarily going to go to and win challenger champs to make EWC, like maybe you're fine with going this spot because it auto guarantees you that thing. The tough thing for them is just like finding, because Purge also brings out like a little bit of like IGL leadership. It's just going to be tough to find a sub that replaces that. Like, I get it. And I think there was a player or two they were looking at and they got pump fake for whatever reason. But it's just, and I think they trialed Ken at one point on a sub. Like, yeah, they just got to bite the bullet and just try something else. And whatever, there are a couple different ways they can do it. I don't know if all the options are good, but like, bro, I'm sorry, but you can't have a player just go half a season drop in a 0.85.
Yeah, no, this is crazy faith, bro. He better be in VOD, like making everybody better. Like he's got to have the ultimate intangibles.
It makes it too hard, bro. You're playing 3-4.
And then
and they don't. And if they had 3 top 10 players in Purge drop in a 0.85, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he was on Optic, bro. I mean, I think like Haggy worded it really well. I heard him say like, you can't even address problems you have until there's like a base minimum of like, okay, we can all shoot back. Right.
Yeah.
And that's like something we would talk about back in the day, like when making changes is like, okay, bro's just not shooting back. I can't even begin to fix the issues that I think we have in hardpoint or in specific game mode until you start to play better. And they've given him a ton of chances to do that. So do I think I was once like probably number one on the bullish purge train when he first came in. I thought he played like ethical ball, super smart player. And I still think at times he does that, but this game, for whatever reason, is just not translating for him. So I hope he can get his mental back on and figure it out. But they got to move, and they need to move quick. But that moves us to the next thing, which is let's make our minor bracket, Ben. I don't think you didn't make the bracket on the flank last night, so let's make one.
No.
I got Ben's website. I don't know if this is available for all you guys, but if it is, is it? It is. Check it out, guys. It's sweet.
I'll put the link in the chat so people can putz around with it. But yeah, we all you gotta do, like you can manually enter the like how you think the map count will be. Otherwise, you just click on the name and it will auto people.
So let's do it, Ben. One, thank you for making this. This makes it hella easy. I don't know why on the CDO Pick'em website. Maybe I couldn't find it, but I don't know why there's not a bracket to make. So shout out, Ben.
Good question. The CDO website needs to get redone. We have a flank episode with Daniel tomorrow. I'm going to ask that question. It's their due.
That should be a primary focus for them, in my opinion.
It's about time.
Way more information, way easier to navigate. Yeah, a lot of work. But here we go. Let's start with let's work from the bottom up. How about that? Let's start with Riyadh and Vancouver. Yeah, what do you think, bro? Honestly. They showed more life versus FaZe. They did. Riyadh did. But Gwyn is on a tear, brother.
Like, here's my thing. I think form-wise, this goes fifth. Game 5. Who wins Game 5? I think I have to say Vancouver, right?
Game 5 would probably be like Plaza, right? Because both them played
Vancouver winning.
Vancouver's winning.
That shit then.
They're winning, bro.
Yeah, I hate, like, we got to pick all upset in this, and like I think that's the one.
Like, because what are they gonna play? Like, here, let me because I know Riyadh's Destiny's not that good. It looked better on the Fringe. If you're Vancouver, did they play Fringe? They did, right?
People may change reviews for week 2, but it's like,
yeah, they might. They didn't play Fringe.
Well, here's the thing. Vancouver have a number of players. I don't know. I trust Vancouver with the players in the team to be a bit more icier in S&D. I like the Fringe I saw from Falcons, though. Again, we don't know what map 2 and map 5 will be in this. Higher C gets to choose A and B, right? So that would be Falcons.
Wait, what the hell? This shit's broken. This says that they banned Den and then they picked Fringe, but it says Den on here. I don't even remember. They
probably just entered it wrong. Yeah, it probably just got entered
Chat,
wrong.
what did they play on the Vancouver, Carolina, the game 2? What was it actually? I don't remember.
No, I think it was Den, right? I think the DeVito's just wrong.
Oh, was it? Okay. All right. Well, I was just trying to figure out what they're going to play. So they'll probably play a Plaza. Vancouver looked insane on the map.
Did they play Fringe?
No, I'm saying this is a different one we're talking about. But
okay, yeah.
Oh,
like, I think Fringe is what got banned. We played Fringe Plaza.
Okay,
Austin,
got it.
The data entry is just wrong here on Austin Sheet.
Got it. Okay, so
we should text them afterwards.
So there we go. So yeah, so I mean, if we see that, I mean, the Fringe look good from Riyadh, and I think the hard point right now for Surge is just looking pretty solid. Like, I think the overload definitely leans towards Riyadh, so that gives them a little bit of life in this one. But the plays that we're seeing, like the one we just watched, let me pull your tool back up. The one we just watched of Riyadh, that's not gonna cut it, bro. Like, Scar's been out since the jump. Like, your team's been together since the jump. Like, you can't be doing shit like that. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree. Vancouver win that. Boston, Miami, who you got?
I mean, the question is, you give Boston a map. The problem is they're gonna just play fucking like Scar against Miami and just fucking lose. So it's like, is this like a hot 3-0? You know what I'm saying? Or did Boston try and go a different time?
No, let's nail this prediction here. I mean, if you play like Boston will probably openly embrace Scar because I feel like that's the map Afro just always fries on. Like even in the Challenger final, you just love Scar everything. This is probably just a 3-1 Miami angle. Like Miami's just a better search team. They'll probably just overwhelm them in the respawn.
Yeah, my veto tab thinks that Scar is map 1 and map 5 in this. It thinks that if Miami takes side A, it thinks that it's Scar, Fringe, Exposure, Gridlock, Scar. I think it's a 3-0-3-1. You want to make it a hot 3-0? I'm not opposed to that.
Let's do a hot 3. Minnesota versus C9. Honestly, like, is this an interesting game or no? It all depends on maps because they're gonna probably play Colossus, right? So we'll probably get Colossus for hardpoint, and then like that gives C9 a lifeline there, and then they got to win some S&Ds. Minnesota's S&D's been iffy. I mean, we might get a raid.
I think C9 take 1. It's maybe a sketchy 3-1. I'm not saying this goes 5 though. Like I don't think so. There's a Minnesota 3-1, and like it's a heartbreaker for C9 last map because like they could have forced it to 5, but.
I'm just saying, like, if G2 do square on the Colossus, C9 have like decent amount of reps so they like look solid on it, and like Nedra look good there. And this meta, like, I don't know how much will change by this time this minor comes, but if we're playing like what we did last weekend, they have a lifeline there. They would just have to win that and like guarantee the S&Ds. Winning both against G2 might be a little difficult, but we'll probably get a raid, and they abuse the water on the raid. They look good. They're not winning the overload. So, and they're not winning 2 HPs. So yeah, I'll go mini 3-1 with you. But yeah, I think it'll be some close maps in there. All right, Toronto, Carolina.
Toronto, Carolina. Ooh. What are the maps in this series?
Well, let's see. So they're gonna veto Scar.
Is Carolina or like really? Oh man, this is the problem with Carolina. They're really fucking bad at Den.
They're gonna veto Scar. They have to. Carolina. Like
what's Carolina's record on Den?
On Den, they're 2-3. But I think the issue is like they haven't played a Scar since March 20th, and then like Toronto and Scar is just like a fucking auto loss. Like,
but when was the last time Toronto played Scar?
At the major on Saturday, where they blitzed the Gentlemates 250 to 130.
Yeah, Gentlemates is just on that. I think Carolina will play them on Scar.
You think Carolina's going to square on Scar? All right, so they're going to square on Scar, get obliterated, and then
maybe
Kips if they play Scar, Kips is going to drop like 40 plus kills, bro.
This is Toronto 3-1, bro, and I think Carolina wins second or third map.
They're going to run the Scar, and Kips is going to blend the shit out of them. Yeah, they win both HPs. What S&Ds will we get? Because really, that's kind of the... I mean, our Carolina are just like, they're like an okay S&D. I mean, they've lost 4. They got cooked these last 2 S&Ds, bro. Yeah, this is Toronto wins this, Ben.
I think Toronto wins both hard points, and they lose like either the S&D or the fucking overload, because it could be the S&D could be like Fringe or fucking, you know what I'm saying, like
they're not gonna lose the overload either. Like what?
You think they just hot fucking? This is a hot 3-0.
I think
if you want to say hot 3-0, I have no problem with you going down that route.
I mean, it was just like Carolina's S&D just hasn't looked good, and Toronto's a way better respawn team on like all the fronts. So yeah, I'm just gonna go Toronto. All right, let's go to Texas and Toronto. What are your thoughts?
Ooh, that's a real spicer right there.
Kinda is.
The problem for Toronto is that Optic are really good at Scar hardpoint and really good at Den and Den S&D. Toronto, I think, can square them and give them fits maybe in the overload. But the problem is the map overlap for Toronto really fucking sucks in the series.
Hold up, Ben, real quick.
I don't think they can force a 5.
Let me jump in and ask you this. Optic probably going to have to veto Saki, right? I mean, they vetoed it in this one. So if they in Toronto look good on it, so if Optic vetoes Saki, that opens up a world of pain for them, right? Because then
I don't know.
the Den and Scar is available.
did Optic and Toronto play recently, or am I tripping? When was the last time Optic and Toronto played?
I don't know.
It's probably a
Let me
bit
see.
ago.
I could pull it up. I think.
I just think Optic's gotten way better at that. Like the thing is, I'm not. If I'm Optic and it's Den score hard points, like I'm not that worried. They're gonna win one or both. They're not going 0-2 on those.
When did they play? Chat. When was it?
The
while ago?
the problem for Toronto is I think they have to win one or both S&Ds in this, and I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know about
Optic's
that.
a good ass search team still.
I think
Overload.
this is a 3-1. I think map 1 is a heater. I think map 4 and map 3 are heaters. I think someone blows one of them out in S&D, and Toronto just lose a close one to a team that probably is very good. And it just is. They got a bad draw. And it is what it is. But like, you know, I think it's just
I think this goes 5, and I think Optic clutch up in game 5. I think Toronto's gonna win the map 1. And I think that they can either take the search or the overload. I think Toronto's been really good at overload. I just, by virtue of not knowing what map 1's going to be as well, and I think there's some good, like, there's some comfortability in this veto process for Toronto, given that they've looked good on Saki and Optic and scrims have not, and also vetoed it. So I think that they'll have, like, I don't know, they'll have some control over like the hard points in this one, which is good for Toronto, which they already kind of have every series anyway. So I think this goes 5.
We shouldn't discount the fact that Optic played one match on Sunday against C9, and then we'll have to go into this one. And Toronto played what? Toronto played twice last weekend.
Yeah.
They'll played 3 matches to Optic's 1 on this meta. I'm down with the game 5 and Optic clutch up, but it's like Optic may have gotten a bad. Well, maybe one match last week against C9 might have been a real unfortunate draw for them going into this, just from a like getting used to the reps kind of situation.
Also, like, this is obviously still developing, but just like given, I know that there's a grain of salt with all this, guys. I know, but given some of the scrim results we've seen, the competitive nature of that last series at times for Optic, this current meta might not be as strong for them as the last one was. And they still might be currently in the process of adapting to it, which could give Toronto a lot of life when they, I mean, seemingly have been like the best at adapting to this new meta and maps and everything seen at. I mean, they played Saki, played Gridlock, played Fringe, they played Plaza, dude. They're playing them in all these series, right? So I think it's going to be really competitive, really competitive. Like, Optic fans gear up for a fucking banger. And Ben just laid it out. Like, they've played 2 matches, all the new maps, and they just played, and they would have just beat Carolina in this situation, right? So they would just have more reps on the new maps in official matches than Optic. So they could have an edge there. But let's move on. I do think Optic will edge it out in a game 5. LA Thieves, Minnesota, Ben.
Ooh. I think Thieves are gonna. Do they play? Didn't these 2 teams play recently?
I have the head-to-head. I can pull it up. Hold up.
I feel like Thieves whomped the fuck out of them last time they played. And I feel like it's about to happen again. No?
They played on LAN, right?
I think so, and they got cooked, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they've just cooked them this year. Let's see.
This is a bad matchup for. This is like, I think Thieves are gonna start coming. I'm a big believer in the Thieves rebound right now, and like I think they're just gonna whack.
The number 1 team I'm bullish on.
The same G2 roster from last weekend. I think they get worked.
It should be the same roster. I haven't heard any rumors of them changing. Right? Have you? Hold on.
No, I've heard nothing about them making a change.
When's the last time these guys played?
Someone said they played at the LAN. They got swept by Optic and Thieves back to back.
Yeah, so this was on LAN on the Saturday, and yeah, I mean, Thieves just speed ran. Like,
I mean, Minnesota won game 5 S&D, but the other 3 maps weren't close.
We're not close, and I think that
they also played Minnesota on Colossus S&D, which is a map they have quite a bit of reps on.
I think that Thieves are. I mean, I said it last episode. I'm most bullish on them, Ben. I'm totally on board with you. I think Hydra and BZ are taking a step. I think Neum, what he's shown on LAN, awesome player. Yeah, I think they win this. I think it's 3-0. I'll be honest.
I think it's a hot fucking 3-0.
Yeah, Thieves are nice. All right, Mates, Miami.
Mates are these are 2 weird teams. I don't like the problem with these teams. Okay, let's use the intel we have. Super tweeted I think how much he hates his fucking meta, which is never what you want to see from a player.
Never what you want to
That is-
see.
You
Like,
never want to see that. Like, you and I have been around the block. Like, whenever players are tweeting about hating the fucking game, unless it's the Optic Dynasty, like, they're generally going to lead to them, like, underperforming. So that's not ideal. Gentlemates just went on a massive L streak, but they've looked better as of late. The problem is that for whatever reason, Sib is on this, like, online thing. He, like, is very inconsistent.
he's putting down damage. He's putting down damage. But
he's got to get fucking kills, though. Like,
he's their X Factor, I agree.
Player.
Yeah.
It's like, who do I trust on this team? What's their head-to-head this season?
I got you.
What's their head-to-head? This is where we need to get into the... We got enough evidence of the head-to-head to maybe that will help us.
So they played 3 times. The first one was a 3-1 Gentlemates, where they lost the S&D. Second one was a 3-1 Gentlemates, where they lost the S&D. Last one was a 3-1 Gentlemates, where they lost the S&D. So, all right.
I mean, surely, right? Like, surely, like, we go with... I mean, surely we go with the same thing. Like, this is 327. Yeah, was that the event then?
Yeah, it was the Friday, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with the same thing. Maybe Miami forced it to a game 5, and that's really their win condition is to nuzzle the fuck out of this.
But let's also, based on like kind of what we saw, I mean, Gentlemates have looked pretty good, man. And Neptune was getting loose.
Yeah.
And also back it up with a couple things. The defense in their S&D, I don't know if you noticed, Ben, so good in both the series.
Yeah.
Awesome retakes, playing together. And that was just a pain point for them. So like if their S&D starts to like even get to like 50-50, Ben, like the mates are low-key kind of back, right? Like that's kind of, to me, like that's been all that's mattered for them. So you on board with this 3-1?
Yeah.
Right,
I'm on board with the 3-1.
Let's do it. All right, FaZe Vancouver. Thoughts?
Ooh. I think this is a... Well, first off, TJ's record against FaZe is diabolically bad. He's got like 1 win against them in the entire history of the CDL. So that's not fucking ideal. You know, obviously, I think Vancouver are playing better as of late, but FaZe right now look like potentially the best hardpoint team in the game. The other modes, they're good. I just think Vancouver can maybe steal like a map 2 in this. But I think FaZe just walk them in the respawns no matter the fucking map.
I agree. There's like a level where it's like, okay, a lot of these teams can get kills, but there's like when you watch FaZe, they're just like they're boxing teams up, bro. And from bad situations. We just watched the Riyadh one where it's like Riyadh was making heroic effort plays and it just doesn't matter. Like it's inevitable. Like FaZe is gonna win. Like even the overload that you mentioned, you brought up. Once we went to like sudden death with like the stopwatch, it was GG.
Yeah, they got bobs.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think like Vancouver might look better, but what did you said 3-1?
Yeah, I think for FaZe, the interesting thing I'm seeing going into this is will they? It's a little buggy. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The one thing is, don't think FaZe can't continue this double gridlock, man. They got to get reps on it. So do they do it at some point this upcoming weekend on it and kind of see where they sit on it? But
what do you think about gridlock, Ben?
We haven't really seen gridlock S&D, have we?
Nope.
So,
I don't think the pros might be kind of faded, bro. I'm not a huge gridlock fan. Chat, have you guys been fans of gridlock so far? The hard point?
But this is the point this is what I was trying to argue with Clifftown.
I think Clifftown's better than gridlock.
Everybody hates a map, get good at it because then it gives you an extra competitive advantage against all these teams. Fuck the fraternity bullshit and the groupthink. And zig where everybody else is zagging and get yourself a fucking advantage. That's why I tilted so hard fucking the last couple of weeks.
I think Clifftown's better than gridlock. I mean, I said it. I mean, I was texting with some people about gridlock, like their thoughts. I don't know what the pros are seeing it, but clearly there's some teams like FaZe just auto vetoing.
The problem with gridlock right now, especially on the showers hill, is that you want to pinch the hill, but if you time the pinch wrong, you spawn the guy. The guy doesn't necessarily spawn out. He spawns sometimes. If your timing's bad, he spawns in shower. Like they'll spawn in the fucking mix in the middle.
Showers hill
so
is
you can't
awful.
do because that's what you used to do in gridlock. Like the way gridlock spawns worked is like this is the thieves fucking bullshit. Is you would pinch from all sides, you would slowly spawn people out 5v5, and you would have numbers and you would collapse. But it's like people haven't mastered that yet on the map. If they do, I think it'll play better. Now it seems a little awkward.
The P2 is just low-key ass. Showers hill pushing out both sides.
Fucking truck spawn sucks.
P3 push on both sides. I just don't like. Yeah, I mean, I'll wait a bit. I'm just not a huge gridlock guy at this point. But let's keep our bracket going.
Yeah.
Let's go back up. Texas versus LA Thieves. Um, shit, man. I don't. This is a hard one. Because like I really would just need to see the how the Thieves look against Mini first, right? Because that stands right now, I'm still going Optic in this series, but I have liked what I've seen from Thieves so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Curious your take.
I mean, this is this series where Thieves finally like win a big one, because right now they haven't won the big one all year.
Yep.
You know, like when they've been in this situation on Saturday and Sunday, they've gotten hot 3-0'd.
Yep. It's hard without the context of this series for me. Like
I know it's so hard because it's like, do we just say, oh, we're gonna blind pick the upset and just say Thieves will figure it out? Or do we go with the historical, which would be like we take Optic maybe in a gritty one, like a game 5 gritter?
But like Abizi and Hydra are just gonna be better. Like they just are right now. We even saw like glimpses of it, but it's so difficult. Like I don't know if their search is good enough to go. Like the problem with this type of matchup for Thieves is like you're not gonna win both the hard points against Texas, right? So you have to be able to fight back in the S&D. And like they've had some like decent searches, but it has not been anywhere near the level of Optic, in my opinion. So like, and then the Overload, like Thieves have some money maps for them. Like their Scar's really good. But can you go into a series Thieves Optic and be like Thieves are gonna take the Overload? No, but the only thing you feel confident is like Thieves is hardpoint map pick. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel confident in their S&D map pick. So I just think it's an Optic win. Like until proven otherwise. Like I don't think we can sit here and just say like Toronto's a different story, because like Toronto have shown like in all the game modes like prowess and like hella improvement. You know what I mean? So it's like it was easier discussion there. Like with the Thieves one, it's just hard. Especially with, like what they specialize in. So I'm gonna go Optic 3-1. What do you think?
Optic 3-1, but I'm gonna put a giant asterisk that, like, again, I won't be surprised if these make it to the finals in this one if they're actually playing good. Like I think it's super doable for them. We just haven't seen it all year, and it's like I can't sit here and predict it.
It's just a dashy sniper angle.
I really want to.
It's a dashy sniper angle, Overload, Shotzzy Menace angle, and then Thieves steal that first hard point and give the Thieves fans hope, and then it just 3-1. That's what I'm seeing. Mates versus FaZe Vegas. Banger.
They played during last stage, and FaZe beat them in a game 5, I think, right?
I got
it was
you.
like a gritty one. And that's really the issue, is like I think with the inconsistencies of Dante, like that's where I think this one will just be another classic.
The last match was on the major. It was just 3-0.
Oh, the winners round 2. Oh, they did play. You're right. They did play LAG, and they cooked the shit out of them. I forgot about this.
Or Paris, you mean? Yeah. They played 4 times this year. Yeah, and then obviously the major one.
That was the game 5. The
major 3-1 against them. They've struggled against FaZe.
I'm gonna go FaZe 3-1. To be honest, I just think I think Gentlemates are again trending a little bit better, but I'm just really concerned about. I'm really concerned about Dante, bro. He is not like pull up his stats in the last like 7 or 8 series he's played.
I was just looking real quick. So the one thing I'm noticing here is like if FaZe are 3-1 against him, Ghosty struggled against FaZe for whatever reason, and he's like been kind of like he's been like their best player to me for the last month. So like if that trend continues in this series, it's probably the same result. And then to the Dante thing, I will pull that up for you right now, my bro. Dante's putting down like damage, but he's just not been as good. Yeah. Here.
It's like I think Gentlemates Overload is still quite to the point of someone in chat. Like Overload for Gentlemates has not been very kind this year, and that's been the big limiter, especially in stage 2.
So this is Dante so far this split where like they're winning, and it's like
But like, go to the breaking point page and like go just look at his last like 10 series. Like,
I mean, we can do last 30 days. Like,
yeah, do last 30 days.
Dante's like he still puts down damage and like Ghostie's just soaking up all the time and killing it and killing everything. Yeah, but they have like a kind of a nice dynamic going on. Like you watch them like between him and Ghosty.
But they lost 7 and 9 games last stage. What are you talking about?
I'm saying recently in their last couple of series. But I said it on broadcast that like Sib is like the guy where if he starts to play like he did Major 1, then they're championship team. You know what I mean? So I'm with you there. It's just not like as bleak, I think, as a, you know, I guess
I'm going to call it how I see it, and I'm sure Dante will be pissed. Bro, Dante is someone who I think has an incredibly fucking large ego. And I think it gets in a way sometimes of like the rapid getting out of the fucking hole that he's in sometimes form-wise. I know, because you know the top end of what Dante is, which is an all-star caliber level player.
Yeah, I mean,
he did it earlier this year, but like he is a net, bro. Like the Dammy is fine. It's what you expect from an AR. We see it from the other ARs, elite level Dammy. He's got to convert that into kills and get back to fucking taking over shit. It can't just be like Dan bails him out or Neptune goes on a 49.
No, you're right. They were blitzing people in hardpoint because of him.
From Dill recently, and like I just like they like to be phased. They're gonna have to fire on all cylinders. Because the Gentleman's team, every time recently outside of Major 1, when they played these better teams, like what maps are they going to win? Like their score is not good against those teams. Their overload is not good against those teams. Their S&D is not good against those teams. So like I think I don't want to pin all on Dante, just like I didn't want to pin all on fucking Dill. But like with the way Dante's playing right now, I just don't think they'd be faced.
I mean, you're right. Like I said, I put out the same thing. I'm just recognizing like the damage. But this split so far, obviously, is only a couple of games. Yeah, I mean, like it's not trending in the greatest direction. The search hasn't been good, and just by the like, just watching them, there are a couple rounds like he's just kind of caught alone. Obviously, their defense in search has gotten better overall, but like Sib has not hit the same gear. So I'm with you. Like if Sib hits that same Major 1 stage 1 gear, like they can win. But he's just working back towards that. I don't think he's been like absolutely terrible. I don't think that's the way to word it, but he's just not been the same. So what are we going? We're going phase? You don't think Sib figures this out in the series?
Yeah, I think I'm going phase.
Yeah. And we got a rematch where I fear Optic will get their lick back if this is the rematch, I'll be honest. I think Optic will get their lick back.
Well, so we get phase Optic. I swear to fucking God.
Gridlock and Saki get vetoed.
So Optic would be, yes. And so Optic would take A, and for the love of all things holy, please do not pick fucking Colossus map 1.
Well, hold on. What are they going to do? So Gridlock and Saki will probably both get banned, right? And then
play phase on fucking Scar map 1.
Yeah, so you get Scar, and then Optic's forced to play a Den. Optic started playing it more.
Like, please, for the love of all things, like I know they're confident on fucking Colossus, okay? But like, I think Optic can win the rematch. I think it's doable, but they can't spot phase that. It's the same thing as Gentlemen. It just cannot. Don't go into Colo. We don't know who's gonna play first and second match. Actually, wait, it might already be set. Actually, we might know. Hold on the league website on their bracket.
Damon said they're gonna start picking Team B in the finals. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a smart move. I mean, you pick guys. You for whoever missed the episode, Team B gets to pick 2, 3, and 4. So ideally, if you steal the map 1 pick, you could 4-0 the other team if you're Team B, which is something you should talk to Daniel about as well. By the way, in your guys' thing, in my opinion. But yeah, I think 2, 3, 4 is pretty fucking insane. And then even if you do lose the map pick, you can win all 3 years and then close it out on the game 5 S&D, which is just like too many mental advantages, I think, for the team coming out losers. But yeah, I would pick Team B. But yeah, is this a best of 7, the grand final of the minor?
Yeah, it's best of 7. It's a normal best of 7 format. So we're gonna have 2 R points, 3 S&Ds, 2 overloads. Which I would say actually now low-key FaZe are so good at sake now that so like we think that the hard points will probably be Colo and either Den or Scar.
Yeah, those will probably be the HPs.
Which is a split to me.
Yeah.
That's a 1-1 split for sure. The overloads are
well, the exposures being gone like help Optic probably.
in the hardpoint situation, maybe, but then now Sake's in, which facelift looked unbelievable on Sake. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Well,
not
that
out.
the S&D too.
Unless Optic have made leaps and bounds on Sake going into this, and they're just gonna fucking be willing to play it. Because who knows? Because at the end of the day, like, you want to win the minor, but for both these teams, like, the reps are more important too. So I don't know. You're saying with the vetoes and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the hardpoints are split. I think the overloads are. I'm just trying to go game up by game out to figure out the score. The hardpoints we agree are split, right?
yes.
Overloads. Do we think that's a split, or do we think someone wins both of them?
What are the overloads? What will the overloads be? Let me go back to this. What were the overloads in the final?
I think Scar was the one that got played because it was a 4-1. They didn't even get to the 6th map.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out what the other overload even was.
Yeah.
Let me go back 1 second. So the other overload would have been Den. So yeah, it was Scar and Den. Scar obviously came down to sudden death. I do like FaZe's Scar. What is Optic's record on Den over? Let's pull this up. Where's Texas? There they are. And there's Vegas. Season overload. All right, so yeah, I mean Optics 9-1 on Den. So they are, because I remember when we were watching, I was like, if they could just force it to this game 6, like they're in a good ass spot. So they probably split the overloads again, right?
And it just comes down to S&Ds, which Optic have been. Well, they won. They split them in that actual fucking last best of 7.
No, the series is way different, Ben. I have the angle. It's if Optic picked Team B and then they pick 2, 3, 4, the whole scheme of this series changes, because like when you go back to the final, that was the whole thing, bro. It was like if Optic can just get to the last 2 maps here, like they probably win. You know what I mean? Like after they lost this Colossus, like okay, fuck, how are they gonna get there? This Den, like the Den is so good for them. So I mean, I feel like if Optic actually go to Team B, I think that they'll win. Probably like 4-2, 4-1. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah, but Scar Search is like, I think Scar Search is like 50-50. I don't. I gotta be honest. I think this one's going last map.
Yeah, that'd be
the
lit.
More I'm sitting here, this shit's going last map, and like flip a coin, bro. Like flip a fucking coin. Like if you want to, I'm gonna leave it to you, and if you want to actually just flip a coin, you fucking
I'm
go
down.
ahead, because like.
But I'm leaning towards Optic. I will say, why aren't the minor final like them together in like a Texas studio, like playing like in the Optic HQ or something, playing each other, bro? Like we should do the minor final on like a different day.
We're gonna ask Daniel about it tomorrow, because like I assume it's a couple things. One is you got to move all those CDL computers. I assume Optic would do it in that room where the watch party is, right?
Yeah.
They did the marathon where they
Optic
did,
our heads,
like the boot camp. Optic our heads.
Damn.
Damn. All right. Well, tough out for a fucking Optic. So here's the procedure of how you would do it, right? Let me walk you through it. So you would use that room where they did the boot camp, the research procedure, all that shit, right? Watch parties in there. You got to move all of the CDL PCs. You got to get 8 of them in there.
Welcome, Mason.
And I assume you
to
also
the no
need to set
namers.
up like a code setup somewhere in the office, solvable. You got to set up all the cams and all the networking. You got to test it to make sure nobody's fucking lagging.
Yeah.
So it's doable. It just requires manpower and time. Because I got in a big argument with Claire on Twitter about this, of like, I think that the setup is not the hard part. The time is the hard part, but they're both very solvable while planning. They're actually very easy issues as long as you plan correctly. But like, how would you do it in this context? Now, one way you could do it is if the league already had extra PCs, they're already shipped to Optic, and that shit's already set up with all the extra gear.
Yeah.
Nobody's got to move their shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's like settings and a bunch of other stuff. The players have to get there early and do whatever. Solve a problem. But like, you have to just send Optic extra gear. That's how I would do it.
Send Optic some extra gear and send a ref and have somebody there to like, you know, oversight and just make sure.
You don't even really. Do you need a ref? Why would you need a ref?
You just need some like CDL representation there, probably, right?
I get fucking Spencer on a fucking.
Especially if phase are going into like optics place, so like they're not putting phase in a closet. You know what I mean? Like you know.
They're playing the same room because you can't. Okay, here's the issue.
I'm saying like
of all the facilities in Frisco, Gentleman's office is too small. Eve's office is too small. I think FaZe could do it, but I think right now, from my understanding, there are a lot of teams going through the Game Square office because there's a bunch of NA lands for other games over the next few months. CS, Rainbow Six, like a couple other things. And so I think all their practice rooms are getting filled up with teams coming through, and I don't think they necessarily have the space. So it'd have to be optic, it would have to be that room. So to answer your question, I think it get done. It just requires planning and execution. But my question to Daniel will have tomorrow is like, are there any blockers on the league side and the EFG side? Which, as far as I've asked around, no. But I'll get Daniel on the record to say like, otherwise.
Well, all right, yeah.
Confirm.
I'm extremely excited to watch that. That's tomorrow, right? At what time?
5 East.
Make sure you guys all tune in. And it's the flank, right? Or is it?
Yeah, we're doing a regular flank episode. It's me, Zin, Tommy, and Samuel LaRue, which I think will be a good squad for that episode.
Absolutely. And we'll probably talk about some of the stuff you guys talk about that on our next episode here as well. But I'm excited for that. Hopefully Daniel's a good guy. Hopefully he comes in and answers a lot of the questions and stuff. All right, so let's move on. We got some people in here. We got our mainstay for the call in, our guy, Mr. Frankie Mojo, an absolute legend here in the Codcast. What's up, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about you guys?
Doing good, man. Actually doing really good.
Hold on, I got my audio's freaking out real quick. I just got a quick question. We've been seeing not too much of Plaza S&D, but I want to know your guys' general opinions on Plaza. We saw that it was Falcons versus Ravens, I think, right? Where they were just banging at the club for like 3 runs straight, and the runs were over in like 20 seconds. Surely that's not a trend that continues throughout the season if the map stays, right? Like, I'm thinking people are going to start to slow the map down a little bit, take a different approach to it, spread the map out a little more. But like, I also understand the idea. I've heard that like bad S&D teams are going to love that map because they could just run into the club and just put the bomb down real quick, and that's the round. But like, do you think over time pros are going to figure out pretty quickly how to counter that and have a different approach to it, or do you guys think we're just going to see a bang out for the rest of the year? I don't think so, me personally.
I could take this one off the rip, Ben.
You go first. Go first.
So I was actually, me and Sam were texting about it. I actually don't think it's as bad as, I guess, the first look we had at the first couple of rounds. I mean, if teams want to choose to just both double bang inside the club, then hey, I mean, more power to them. Is that the optimal way to play the map? I don't think so. I mean, maybe a round or two, like throw people off, especially if you have a lead. But we did see some like developing rounds over towards the B bomb site that I thought were actually pretty awesome. If you think about like the insight retake, where you like killed 2 people outer, where it's like you can get B down. Like, do you want to take that courtyard? And it like gives you like a real clear decision like you have to make, which I think is good, especially for like, an off, or especially for like a map where it's like most teams will probably commit like 1 guy to B. So it's like, does he play his life? Does he back up, or does he engage? So there's like real decisions that have to be made defensively. And then offensively, it's like, okay, we can all go inside the club. If they choose to like not bang out club and like just go mid and have a guy hold back stairs, like we might just get trapped in. And if we 3-bang club and have one sit like outside patio, then he's kind of on an island where like mid has any advantage on an angle and B is like kind of an unobstructed flank, right? So there's like a lot of like elements to the map where like there's like a give and take you have to decide every round, which I think actually makes the map pretty solid. And we saw that, like at least a small dose of it in the plazas afterwards. So yeah, I think there's just like, you actually have way more options than what people initially thought. We'll have to see more of it, but as it stands right now, I think there's a place for it.
People also started learning to throw smokes at A to either like cut off the bar angle or the mid angle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of meta to evolve on that isn't just going to be an A square. So like it can maybe slow down. I think the Ants point, I think there'll be a give and take, and it'll be fun to see in Atlanta how it plays.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see teams like get creative on that map and
Yeah, you can get real creative on the map.
punish teams that are just thinking super one-dimensional. Because I think this map is a bit deceiving. I think going into it, there is this notion that it's basically just like Colossus. Like you just bang out of sight and that's it. That's the round.
It's not like that.
I don't think that's how this map is going to end up working at all. So it's going to be really interesting to see that. And we saw that Falcons versus Ravens. Like it was one of the last rounds. I think you guys mentioned it already, where like they hit like two mid. They sent one guy to the other site, and one team just went all four into the club, and they were instantly surrounded.
Well, you saw kind of like that was such a good example of like how that map could be good as the rounds started to develop late. Because like Riyadh were trying to like do that, like, all right, we're just gonna bang this, right? Like this map's simple, and they got like hard punished for it. So I guess we'll see as it keeps going, but I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
The more we watched it. Yeah, thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. See ya.
Heavy question.
Yeah, this is a good question. It's something I actually kind of wanted to talk about. I was hoping Ray would be here today so we could go over it together as well, but maybe next episode.
Maybe next week. And I really am hoping we see Gridlock S&D this weekend.
Yeah, why do you think we're not seeing that, man?
People are probably not confident yet to play it over some of the other maps, and it's just easy to ban the map that we don't have reps on. So we'll see if now people have confidence and they feel like they're ahead early.
Yeah, I don't know how we haven't seen one Gridlock S&D.
Or all the pros think the map sucks and they're just group thinking it, which it's also possible.
It might be silent G8, bro.
Okay, but then if it's silent G8, not actually G8, let's get fucking good at the map and then force everybody to ban it against us so we can just play other shit. Like that was my argument with Clifftown. Yeah, everybody hates fucking Clifftown. Let's get good at it, and then everybody auto VDs against us, and we can go play fucking Den Hardpoint or Skasake or whatever we're second best map at.
All right, Core, what up, bro? What's going on?
How's it going, guys? Doing well? How you doing?
Doing good. Real good.
I had something quick on, I agree that the teams that don't seem to really care and put much effort into the league, like, C9 paying less than minimum wage, it seems like, and Ravens refusing to pay a $2,000 buyout shouldn't be in the league to begin with. But just given the absurd bio numbers that we've heard floated around for acquiring the spot, are there things that you guys would like to see maybe the league enforce to be able to help mitigate, against just being able to kind of be in the league and not do much and kind of enforce engagement?
So here's the problem with this. And I think we're going to get into this with Daniel. If you want the league to have more oversight into player contracts and player conduct and like really enforce certain things on the orgs, the CDL doesn't have their own lawyers. The Activision, Microsoft do, and you're getting those people involved. And I'm gonna be honest, having worked with publishers, it's not just an Activision thing. It's when I was at Esports Engine working with different publishers. Those legal departments are so levels attached from like understanding esports, understanding the esports business, and they just don't. It's gonna slow down the process so much on these things, and they're gonna block things they shouldn't block. And like it's a weird give and take that the league's got to find of like how much do we want to have this oversight to make sure that we have a fair competition, fair goals, all this stuff, but not have too much legal oversight where nothing gets done and nothing's fucking allowed because legal doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
It's a very tough spot. It's a very tough spot there. And I guess the solution is to have their own fucking in-house counsel to handle all that. But that's also, I don't think Activision Microsoft's going to allow the money to do that.
And they're also trying to figure out a way for these teams to make money. And if these teams are like, dude, we're like so in the red, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's just a hard one to figure out. I mean, I do agree with you.
I don't buy that part.
I do agree with you though. Like, I would like the league to step in a bit with some of the teams. Like the Fire situation that's tough, man. I mean, he ended up paying it, right, Ben?
I think that my chat was telling me earlier that I think there was a solution presented. And I think he got some outside help from. He's in that 1v1 me thing. I think he got some outside help to be able to cover it because, like, again, Carolina put Bush in a very awkward position on that front. The difficulty for the league in the process they're on right now, Ant, is that what they really don't want with the way they have this set up is that a player is so fed up with an org and it goes so poorly on the way out that they sue an org. And all this ends up in a public lawsuit in a depot. And like the league is then a party to that lawsuit, like subpoenaed. And they have to go in and on the record discuss like how they didn't have oversight and whatever this shit's like. That is where this thing might come to a head because
Way above my
if a
pay
player
grade,
sues and the league's gonna be forced to make a change, you know,
Yeah.
because they're gonna want nothing to do with it. It's just insane negative PR for a public company.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But and it doesn't get to that point. But Court, thanks for the question, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Some of my chat said BS answer. I'm just telling you how shit works. Whether or not you like it and the reality of it, like I don't know what to tell you. Like I would love for the league to just put the hammer down on shitty fucking orgs. The problem again is like I know how the legal departments of these publishers work, and trust me, they are so risk adverse, especially if the company is public.
Yes.
And the size they are, it's very tough, man. Very tough.
Shreve, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Sorry, I got to you
again, super
third.
appreciative to have the opportunity to have like great perspective on these things. I want to rattle through this quick so we can get to the next person or just move on. So I'm going to rattle off a bunch of talking points. You guys pick what you want to answer or talk about. I'm going to talk about several things in the next 20 seconds.
All right, go ahead. I'm starting the timer now.
Don't list too much shit, though. Don't list too much
I'll
shit.
remember what I want to answer. All right, so it's...
All right, Ben, actually, should I not list too many things? All right.
No, go ahead. You got 20 seconds. Let's go. Starting now.
I want to give a shout out to Human Jesus and Pristini, Old Panda Gaming, teammates of mine. Sake P2 is too deep in the back. It's bullshit. They need to fucking shrink the map down by just a couple millimeters. Like, Ghosty gets stoned. No way that works consistently. And yes, I do think he goes off and shits on FaZe this weekend. Dante is checked out, and yeah, I think he's partying too much on the side. That's just my opinion. Do you guys think the new meta is fair? I don't know. Purge his ass. COD's a game of milliseconds. He's not making the millisecond split decisions that are able to win the game, whether it's his nerves or overthinking. The guy doesn't have it, and statistics and results show that. Surge is on the come up. TJ Halley has been secretly grinding S&D chows, so I really think Surge is on one. Toronto isn't going to clutch at the end of the day. A guy like Byron Nasty would complete this team for sure for me. Love the show. It helps me with a lot of insight on things. I appreciate you guys. Are we going to sit here and pretend Ben has not played at the highest level in online tournaments? I'm tired of the slander. This guy has played against these pros in the highest level online. These young kids need to wake up. And can you compare the Mets to C9, Ben, please? The Mets are
the Mets are not C9. The Mets are
C9 in the league. I know not the same because the Mets have a ton of talent and C9 is C9. But yeah, I'm done.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that was a good minute.
$350 million fucking payroll. They're not C9, brother. So where do you want to start, Ann? Where do we want to start with this?
Okay. So one, I love the Human Jesus and Pristini shout out. OGs. I forgot a lot because the Sib part was hilarious.
Sake P2 is not as deep as you think it is.
It's not that bad.
I think teams need to understand that at the start of a hill, people are going to hit the back and they need to play better spots, but more importantly, better spots where their teammate can fucking help them after the first kill. So they'll just give it time for them to set up.
So quick answer to the Sake P2 to piggyback on Ben. It needs to be where it's at because P3 is so strong. You don't want that hill to be too close to it. Oh, he actually just went back to the audience. He just wants us to react. All right, cool.
The mulch thing, the weed thing, I think it's an interesting play. I guess it works for Dan. I would think that it would negatively affect your ability to make a lot of decisions, but fuck it, I guess. Yeah,
the Sib one partying too much. I don't think Sib's partying. I think he's just aura farming. I think Sib just after matches, especially after wins, he's just I'm gonna go to a fancy place downtown, set up a tripod, and just take a picture. So I don't know if he's partying, more so just going out, having a bev, and snapping an IG photo. The next
Dante is just hold on. Can I step in on this one real quick?
Yeah.
Dante is just too cool for school. And that's fine if you're super talented, but I'm gonna keep it a stack, and this might get me in trouble. I just think it's gonna limit his ability to ever realize his massive talent consistently. I think that's why he's just so inconsistent, because I just don't know how locked in he's compared to other elite players. I know he has that level in him. We see it multiple times a year, sometimes in a whole year we see it. But bro, I just think sometimes he's getting away of himself.
I've never heard any players or anybody say that he's not a grinder. Everybody I've talked to and seen from the camps he's been in is that he's kind of locked in practice. Where does that? Because it's just his post that comes from, or like where does that take spawn? I guess.
I know from the New York situation, like everything I've heard about Dante is like it's not like he's not trying in practice. I think Dante definitely tries. I think Dante, the MO I've been given from ex teammates is Dante is that guy, and that like he's always got an idea on how to play a situation, and he will argue his way with his team even if he's getting 1v3.
Oh, okay. So stubborn.
Yeah, he's like
I
that
could see
kind of
that.
guy, you know what
I
I'm
could
saying?
see. I could
Yeah.
definitely see stubborn. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously, I've never been in like a
it's fine. It's
practice
fine.
facility with him or anything. But yeah, I mean, stubborn is something to work with, that you have to work around.
Yeah.
It's easy to work around if they're absolutely popping off, which Sib does at times. But yeah, Sib in like big moments has been like really good. Like grand finals, even the champs final that they lost, dude, he was taking over. Stage 1 major bracket. So I think it's still a lot to like. But yeah, I mean, if he's stubborn, then definitely has to work on that. I've just never heard any of that stuff with Sib. Like I've heard and seen like stuff on social media that maybe obviously he needs to work on, but like maybe putting extra pressure on himself and stuff. But I've never heard like the practice and like in-game stuff being a frustration with him.
Like I said, I've always heard that Dante tries. It's just I think he's got an idea. A lot of players like Sprout. He's got an idea of how he wants to play. He's gonna fight for it. Like he will eventually give ground, but sometimes it's a 12-round knockout. But to be honest, a lot of the greatest players of all time, fucking Patty P, for example, Pat was in a heavyweight battle to get whatever he wanted every day in scrims.
I mean, sometimes you
know
like
what I'm
that.
saying? Like,
I will say I've had a couple of COD talks with Dante, and I've been on this train for a while. I do think that in terms of respawn, he knows ball. I think he's good as fuck. Like mentally, I think he really understands this new age Call of Duty. So yeah, but yeah, stubbornness is something that definitely needs worked on. What else did Sharif bring up that he wanted us to address? Was there anything else? There was a lot.
He talked about Toronto.
Oh yeah, he said Nasty would fix them. I don't know, man.
I mean,
I think they're fixed.
I think they'd be better with Nasty, but I'm tired of arguing that one. We spent the whole offseason talking about it. Like,
yeah. All right.
I don't need to bring it back up.
All right, Iron D, bring him in.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up? I'm doing good.
Good, bro.
Good. Well, NAMELESS last Codcast called me the Dreamer, so we're going to do a little bit more dreaming today. I am reading a quote off of Twitter here. The Call of Duty movie will be the greatest movie of all time and win an Oscar. I won't say who said that, but my question is, what do you guys, with that movie coming up in 2028, what would you guys like to see for it? I mean, there's been a couple of kind of gaming movies, like Gamer with Gerard Butler into it, or would you guys rather see kind of like a Black Hawk Down, Saving Private Ryan type esque?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Call of Duty movie, so I have no clue what kind of would you guys like to see, and then also, would you like to see any cameos from pros or former pros? Maybe thrown into the movie somehow, some way, or maybe, we get some like cameo-esque, pro Call of Duty, get one of the characters to yell at the enemy to bow down or something like that.
Well, what's the movie gonna be about? I don't foresee there being any
That's what we're dreaming.
operas in it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hell yeah.
What do you want to see?
I mean,
I don't think so. The last I think we heard about it was in the fall, right? It was that Peter Berg and Sheridan were going to co-produce and co-write it. How they turn the script yet, I don't know. There's a lot of good stories they can pull from, and I think people will probably say like what Joey said, the M1, M3 line, or the Black Ops like storyline. It would probably be one of those. Maybe they cut the difference and kind of make something in the middle with some of those characters, and they write a new story. But like until we see potentially the direction they're going in, especially with casting, we probably don't know. I mean, I think they. So I'm looking at them now. They showed a sizzle. So the only thing we saw recently was at CinemaCon, which was like last week. They showed a sizzle reel that had like some graphics, but they haven't talked about like what the story is yet. I don't think those guys have probably turned in a script, and they haven't really cast it yet.
Yeah, but what story do you want to see, Ben? What is it what would you like to sit down with a bucket of popcorn and watch?
I think the
MW2
M1, M3 story. Yeah, the MW2 storyline would be really good. I think that could set up like the way that story is structured with the third act could be really good.
Will Ghost be like the main character? If so, I'm in.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fair.
just
That's fair.
give me Ghost, bro.
But
Okay.
I want to. Can I make an interesting thread about this COD movie? And it's not going to come back around until next year. But like, this is right now. They booked it June 2028. Okay, and the end of June is a very prime spot for movies. I gotta pull up like what Paramount's fucking calendar is in 28 right now, because they're gonna be the studio. So like I have to see what else they've got slated for them. But like the point I'm trying to make is how many eggs Paramount's gonna put in the marketing basket for this one, on top of what Activision may spend. We should have a very interesting convo.
Well, it's coming out 2028.
Yeah, June 2028, which fits right in the middle of the season. So the question I'm about to say is, will the Call of Duty League be a part of some of the marketing spend that may be involved with this movie? What's their upcoming?
So they got A Quiet Place Part 3. I actually can't wait for that.
That's not going to be like a huge marketing spend though.
Yeah, and then they got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem
That's
sequel.
a year before.
Oh, yeah, it's a year before. So yeah, it's just COD and Sonic.
What are the three they have in 28? What are the three in
COD, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, which probably be big, and then Sonic. I mean, listen, COD owns the first half of the year.
No.
Yeah, so like they may. This is what I'm saying. Like, I think the interesting question, and maybe at some point I should ask Daniel, is like, are there any combos? It's probably too early for this internal, but where the COD League might line up in the marketing spend, because these movies,
oh yeah,
they're going to spend a stupid amount of millions. Like, where do they fit in the rollout of that? You know?
Yeah, I just want to see MCs shaking hands at the premiere on the red carpet. That's literally kind of all I want to see. I just want to see that, bro. Maybe with like the Ghost headphones on, that'd be lit. But yeah, thanks for the question, Iron D.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, 28 is a while. They also haven't started shooting this movie yet, so 2 years to turn around is also pretty tough. That really state might get pushed back.
All right, Trev's been here for a while. Let's get him in.
Hey guys, sorry my audio is probably not that great, so I'm going to make it quick and then I'm going to hop out of here. I appreciate you bringing me in.
Yeah.
My question is, in regard to map vetoes, what is the biggest deciding factor for teams when they have to make the decision to either veto based on their strengths or veto based on their opponent's weaknesses? Or is it normally a one-sided decision? That is all. Thank you guys so much.
Ben, you want to begin?
It depends on the team. Okay, there are some teams where it kind of comes down to how the players wake up that morning.
Yep.
And they're like, you know what? Let's play this map. Like, I hate to say it.
Scrims the day before.
Scrims the day before. There's no fucking exact science. It's just literally just vibes. There are some teams that think it through, and they probably use a combination of like how we have played historically with the teams on the remaining set and kind of where we're at trending on that map to make like an empirical decision on this is probably our best chance to win. But then, like, again, the way the players are sometimes they're just a simple, like, you know what, let's play this map today because we're fucking feeling good at it, you know?
Yeah,
That's how it happens.
Basically, Ben's right. Like, bro, these guys will scrim like 2 days in a row, feel confident on something, throw it in. Some teams do have auto vetoes, which kind of like puts them in a box when it comes into the veto process. Where it really gets like super high levels when teams have like expanded map pools. Like we were talking about the Texas and Toronto one. You have to go into it like kind of with a game plan of like, okay, if we split the hard points, then like, where do we get our edge here? Like, how do we want to approach this? Do we just like with them? I believe Optic just like big brain Toronto last time they played the Den and beat them on it, right? So you can take some risk if you're a really good team that has like a pretty big map pool. But yeah, I mean, more so it's just like about reps, like in official matches as well, before you want to put them in those big series. But yeah, I mean, you could wake up one day and be like, yeah, I want to play Colossus today. And we see that from time to time. We get to the grand final and Optic goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to play Colossus map 1, even though that was probably objectively the wrong decision. They did it anyway, right? So it's not all based on stats and like your performance on the map. Some of it is based on like the scrims the day before, the vibes, like Ben said, the morning of.
Famously, I used to watch because I used to watch the Optic Dynasty practice sometimes at the old Columbus studio. And like this is when Teep was coach, and like Teep would have a big fight with Krim and them because they would come in and just be like all vibes, and Teep's like, maybe we shouldn't play this map. It's the other team's kind of good at it. Yeah. And so you're gonna let the players be like they got to learn from their mistakes, you know, if they want to go down that route. But
yeah,
I think kind of how it goes, unfortunately.
All right, let's get Dane Draper. It's kind of a fire name.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What's that show?
Yeah.
Mad Men? Is that his name in Mad Men?
It's Don Draper. I get that a
Oh,
lot.
okay. Yeah, I've
In
watched a couple
like
episodes.
professional career, that's kind of benefited me a bit. I think there's a lot of
And if
memes
you've
out
never
there.
watched a show, it is probably one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
Really?
And I will die on this hill. May actually be top 2 ending in television history. The way that series ends is like legitimately 98% perfect.
So my wife made me watch
that
the
makes me
first
wanna
like
watch it.
6 episodes, and it was pretty good. And he's a compelling character, but it's just a little slow. I'll watch it. Maybe
it gets
my next big
every
flight.
season gets better. Every season gets better.
How many seasons?
I want to check it out. I feel like every show I watch is my girlfriend, and I feel like she's like not going to be into that, but I want to watch that pretty bad. But so I want to talk about like the meta situation essentially, and how that's been handled by the pros and whatnot, and how it is like always handled by the pros essentially, and that's just like basically a foundation of having no knowledge of how the attachments and how these weapons actually work in the game. And I think Haggy talked about that on the flank last night in like a really good way. He's usually on top of that stuff pretty well relative to anyone else, with a voice in the scene,
Yeah,
basically.
he's good with that stuff.
Yeah, but he had 2 solutions that have been exactly what I've been thinking, and I've like written them on paper and stuff before that aired to prove my, authenticity in these thoughts. But basically, like with the NPC and how I don't know, like addressing the actual issues of these weapons or of that gun specifically in this meta isn't like the way the pros are handling it is basically just kind of throwing shit at a wall and hoping it sticks. Like you ban a
Removing
bunch of random
attachments?
ass attachments
Yeah, let me pull up
with
the
like
most of the
recoil,
attachments.
even though the gun still kind of doesn't move if you shoot straight. If you have like 0 step to underbarrel, that's like all you need. And like damage range stuff when that gun doesn't really do anything out of range anyway. Or like the damage range itself isn't good. But like its sprint out time and its ADS time are instant and it kills really fast up close, which is why it's a shotgun and why, even though comparing to like the Dravic meta, you had, like it's a lower individual, like mechanical skill ceiling gun, which was a problem. That gun isn't good. But the NPC is a higher skill ceiling gun, and we're still seeing what seems to be like a lower skill gap in the game.
Yeah, but we're early in the stage
Yeah.
though. That's your correlations mean causation. Like we're early in the stage, and people are just getting back to playing matches. If it's like this at the end of the stage, we can have that convo. But I wouldn't overthink the first weekend too much on specifically that.
I would also
Yeah, I understand like the idea of waiting and seeing and stuff. Like I think that's important. I'm generally on that side too. But I think understanding how like a skill gap works, obviously, like we should understand that. And basically a lot of that revolving around like rewarding good positioning and punishing players who could
up until this point, it has been an AR meta. And if the meta slightly leans toward, if the meta slightly starts to lean towards SMG, that's not in a vacuum a bad thing. And with the pros and with the pros like approaching this by like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and agree that like removing all these attachments or whatever, changing it up is gonna automatically make it better. But it does indicate that they believe that the sub's a little bit too strong. So basically, what you're saying is that like what are you proposing like something they should do, like or a certain attachment?
I'm exactly that. I'm going to offer like 2 solutions basically, and that's that you don't need to ban any recoil attachment. You don't need to ban any damage range attachment that is going to like very very marginally just affect the gun and make it like slightly worse overall. All you have to do is take off the 2 rear grips that absolutely launch your ADS time on a gun that already sprints out super fast and basically makes it where like sprinting around the map, not having good position, like not rewarding players for holding an iron or having good positioning.
That could work, but I think that at that point, like that's the whole point of this meta change. I think is people want to be mobile with the SMG, right? And with these bigger maps,
fastest handling sub in the entire game.
Yeah, and with these bigger maps, like I'll tell you, like as you know, playing like that's with a sub, to keep the sub out in your hand, you want to be able to like snap onto people, right? So like that, you're gonna get a lot of pushback by the SMG players if that's what gets like removed. You know what I mean? Because That's the primary reason people like the NPC is the fact that it aims in quick. And as somebody who ran subs in a lot of titles, whenever the sub had a slower ADS, it felt awful, and the ARs dominated the meta. So like, I don't. It's just difficult to, I guess, find the balance. But like, to take off the ADS, I think would be a miss, especially with the maps that we've just added. Like, bro, imagine playing like Saki and like closing the distance, and then you're pulling up slow. Like, that's not. I don't think that
Yeah,
it doesn't
I would
entice for an
just
SMG.
to counter that, I would say it still isn't slow. Like a lot of these players, and it's surprising to me, but like Simp and some of these other guys aren't even running the quick draw and stuff like that. Which because they don't think they need it because already ADS is pretty fast. Like an ADS is faster than some of these pros had on the Dravik with whatever attachments they had. Like Simp, for example, was running like hex cut and not the fast loader and stuff. Like not stuff that helps your ADS much. And the Dravik felt like shit. Like if it's basically a Razorback, and we're using it in comp up until now. Like that's stupid.
A long range MSMC.
Yeah. But yeah. So like the NPC without any of those two attachments, and you could run. There is a fast mag that bumps its ADS a bit, but like default, it's 180 milliseconds, which is like the same as what I'm saying with the Dravik was. And it still has a faster sprint out. It still has a faster sprint speed.
I mean, it's an option. It's definitely an option to try, Dane. But I think the better option, and I said this to Sib in the interview because I asked him about it. And he said, "Yeah, I don't like this meta." Basically, they just need to allow attachments on the pistol for ARs only. And if attachments are allowed on the pistol for ARs only, it gets way better for them.
How do you enforce that though?
What do you mean? They have attachments on their pistol and subs don't. Like, period. Your subclass has attached on the pistol, and your AR or your subclass doesn't.
How are you gonna enforce if someone breaks it though? Because people pick up weapons on the ground all the time. Like, how do you know someone was off the rip running an AR or a subclass?
Yeah, I mean,
no, people will cheese it. And
I mean, I guess
you can't enforce that GA though.
I guess I mean, then I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you could find a way to enforce that, but I would just like to hope that.
I feel like that's not that crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy. Yeah, sub players before the series just show your class, and if your pistol has attachments on it. Well, we need a way to see.
You can see the attachment on the gun. Like if a sub player pulls out a pistol, you can see these attachments on it. It's not like a hidden thing.
I mean, if I see Shotzi with a goddamn pistol with attachments, then I know he's breaking the GA. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
And then also, you can also allow on the AR. Like I don't even know if a majority of the league even realizes this, but like all muzzles have been banned, of course, and that's really just for like the compensators. But there is like a slide to fire attachment on the AR that would make it feel more fluid and better up close and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I was gonna say, and like the normal muzzle.
The AR is like a
the normal muzzle people run on the AR, like if we're allowed that, is so OP, bro. Like like the AR gunfights would be terrible. Like
yeah, I think that hurts the skill gap of ARs in general, and that gun's already beaten subs at range anyway, so it's fine. But like if you allowed this one muzzle, it's called the Titan compensator. Like you could run Pentagrind for free, like the quick draw attachment on the AR, or you could stack that with hex cut and make it feel like a lot better slide of fire. That kind of thing. It would just feel better against meta that's really, really dominant.
The M15 is already really good.
You're getting to the key point here, which is like, and what Chris is trying to say, like the pros don't go into this with like, here's our 3 or 4 fucking goals that we're trying to achieve. Like it's just, it throws you to the wall because they're not mature enough to know how to use executive function to actually make fucking smart decisions.
That's facts.
It's a lack of critical thought
after losing maps at a fucking scrim, and that's part of the reason why they've been cut out of so much of this process, especially with regards to maps. The meta and the weapons, they can still enforce GAs and run that, but that's why they got cut out of the map process, because the league and Activision had fuck enough of their bullshit.
Just allow pistol attachments for a week and see what happens, because I don't think sub players are going to be pulling out their pistol. The NPC's insane.
I'm telling you, like people, and I don't think so either, but I'm telling you, get to a LAN event, people are playing for $1 million, they're fucking breaking.
No, I'm saying even let the subs use attachment on their pistol too. Fuck it. Everybody should just allow because like if you're gonna pull out a pistol instead of your NPC, then all right, so be it. But give the ARs at least an ability. Like first of all, a sub should have the advantage up close, but give them the ability to fight back. Because there have been a couple of people that have gotten 180 or like really shit on bad, where I'm like, all right, well, yeah, the sub is just way stronger. So I do think the pistol could help with that, but we'd have to see it. They'd have to try it.
Yeah, and Also, just last thing, the point Haggis made about like the VST with the conversion ammo, I was banging the table for that shit in like fucking Zuma's
What is it?
community Twitter or whatever. It's the VST, it's the new sub they dropped,
Oh,
but there's like the prestige attachment, which is allowed in private match and that kind of shit. You know, you can just put that on whenever, but it basically completely changes the gun to a completely different gun, and it basically makes it into like a traditional sub with fast handling that isn't as absurd as the NPC. It doesn't kill as absurdly fast as the NPC either. It just like shoots faster, kills a little faster than the draw, has like reasonable range. It feels like a legit sub
well,
that
that's
isn't overpowered, and that would like 100% be the best gun for the meta.
well,
like,
I haven't even
without any doubt.
tried that, so I guess I need to try that.
And no one has, and
Yeah.
that's fucking like it's not your job obviously, but that shit's crazy.
I mean,
Like, these pros don't even know that shit
that's
exists.
typically how these things go, though. Like the NPC was in a good spot like a month ago, and now it's in, and it's kind of crazy. I still think it's not as bad as some people are reacting, but they're working
I don't
on
either. I mean, I think it's way more fun. I like using it. Like, I'm a crim player who likes running a sub. Like, I like it. It's fun. It's just fundamentally like for the health of the game and the skill gap and that kind of thing. I think rewarding players for good positioning and punishing players for like playing recklessly doesn't really exist when you can have an attachment on a gun that makes you like you don't even need to hold. It's worse to hold an iron a lot of the time because you're not able to be sprinting around, jumping around and shit. And you're aiming in and like hitting shots exactly as fast.
Well, Dane,
It's
thank
kinda
you for the
crazy.
topic, bro. This is a great discussion.
Great topic.
Yeah, if you want, after the episode, post some of your ideas in the comments of the video. I'll pin them, and we'll see what people think about it.
Gotcha, man.
Appreciate it, Dane.
y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, but this is my problem with the process is like this is a very good convo, but I don't think the pros are sitting here like thinking about it
Yeah,
at
like
this
this.
level.
No, they're not.
And that's what's so frustrating is like they have such a those guys also have such a good mind for like what will play well, what will feel well, but they're just not like sitting down in a room and having that combo.
Yeah,
they do that. They'll make the better decisions.
Have they even talked about pistol attachments? It just got deleted and just never even proposed again.
I have no idea.
All right, well, let's bring in Or's Edge.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What up?
That's good.
What's your question, bro? We gotta rip through these.
Yeah, real quick. You guys brought up Inside a little bit. I actually was on a few episodes ago, and a little bit a while ago. Ray talked to me a little bit, kind of just about teams not necessarily playing all the same. You don't necessarily know, if teams are actually like trying to do what Optic was doing when they were the best, for example, or trying to follow phase. My question though is about Insight. Obviously, we know he plays super slow in all this. Is there a chance that's literally just maybe their game plan? Like they're letting the other three run rogue? Like there's no way. Obviously, they're seeing the scoreboard every game too and seeing what he's doing. Like at this point, I feel like that's got to be a part of their strategy,
Yeah, it's his role. I mean, there's times where he needs to speed up, but like, I mean, overall, you go back and you watch their games from the major and their last couple matches that just had. I mean, there's not a shit ton of moments where you're just like, oh man, Jamie needs to fly there. I mean, maybe one or two, but if you were to take the gameplay and just like go to every other AR in the league, like probably overall, but that's just like their team comp, bro. Like,
yeah, but he also plays like he'll fill the gap, but he'll play it way more passive than anybody else does and not apply damage. That's the issue. But like I think there are times sure where Jamie isn't getting bumped correctly and like people running past him, but also I just don't think that he doesn't apply as much pressure as the people that play the role, and they're missing out. There's a lot of damage and potential kills that are just leaving on the board.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think it's an efficient way to play.
I think that's true, and you guys are right because you maybe add one piece, a nasty, or like people like to say maybe they take the step. I know, Ant, you also like to make a good point that it's not always greener, so you don't ever necessarily know. But I wish more of the lower end teams would almost try this. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I don't mean literally have somebody play like a hermit. I just mean do something different. At least Toronto is, again, people are shitting on Insight, but they're winning when he's playing like that.
I mean, the thing is, in terms of
any mistakes,
in terms of the decisions, well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but in terms of decisions, like at least Insights are like consistent, right? And like you know what you're working with in like every scenario, right? So it's like, I don't know, I'll just throw up like an arbitrary, like random situation. Like, let's just say it's like Saki P2 and Insight's sitting on the well, right? And he's like kind of shimmying left and right. And like, if pressure comes in there, Insight's going to be there. He's not going to let anybody sneak through. And it just gives Joe or like Kips the ability to like apply pressure. Now, is it the optimal way to play sometimes? Maybe not. Like somebody dies, like you want, you know, more than likely at the top level, you want a player who can kind of fill in that gap fast enough and like alleviate like wherever the pressure's coming in. And maybe Insight doesn't get to those spots as often as some of the faster ARs do, but that consistency part of that is done to such a high level that it gives them the ability to like win and salvage a lot of situations. Does that make sense? You kind of understand what I'm saying? Like he'll get to a place, he'll play consistently.
Agree.
Yeah. So like it works for them, at least right now it does. Is there another gear where the grass is greener? Like, yeah, on the top end for their system, yeah. But like there's a degree of like comfortability there. And I can recall like teams where I had that and I dropped the player to get to that greener side, and you don't always get there. So that's like, it has to be for the right player. Like, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it. I don't know if Ben's at the same place. He's been a little bit more, I guess, dire on it, but that's where I'm at with the Insight talk.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's undoubted that if they added someone quick, like there's undoubted that, let's say it was greener and not necessarily someone's just going to turn out to be great, but you add a nasty, like it's not, you can't doubt the fact that their ceiling could potentially rise. But like we said, like, of course it's fun to make fun of Insight and he's a hermit, but at this point you just got to think the other three are almost like cool with it because he's just doing the job, doing all the things they don't want to do, and they just get to run around and fly. Does it hurt them sometimes? Yeah. And could their ceiling be higher with someone else? Yes. But like you say, Ant, screw it. At this point, I just say ride with it. It's working. It's working.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to mess up what is potentially there, right? And I mean, with every team, you're gonna have some issues you have to work on. So, I mean, we'll see. Like, does Insight need to speed up? Probably, but like, he could probably speed up marginally to the point where there can be a championship team. Like, that's definitely possible. I mean, we saw it at the major. Definitely saw it there. But thank you for bringing that topic back up.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, let's get Joser in here. What up, Joser?
Hello.
What up? Yo. All right, well, we'll bring Joser back.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah. Oh, I had it on mute. My bad.
You're good. Knocking, brother.
My question was, if you had to put a number on it, how many years are we away from being able to choose operators like Crimsix, Clayster, Octane as and operators in the game?
See, can I take this one?
Yeah.
They were gonna go in this direction, and fucking like
the Nick Merckx thing.
Nick Merckx ruined it for everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Like, cause Nick fucked up and then doubled down, then tripled down, and put Activision in a situation where they had to cut bait, and it ruined it for fucking everybody. And like, maybe if someone comes in at the Microsoft Games level, the Activision level, and they want to try it again, because enough time has passed, so be it. But they're going to be super careful about who they pick because they're a massive public company. And
I don't think we'll ever see it
again.
Unless it's like an absurd 360 crazy contract. Like, I don't think we'll see it. Just because of that.
So you think like maybe another 10 years?
I don't know.
It's tough to answer because like what's the, like, if you're Activision, like, is that going to generate extra revenue because you're going to have to split it with the person that you're fucking, like, you have to split it with Nate Shot or Scump or whoever, you know, like they're getting a big piece of that. Fortnite doesn't mind because they have ubiquitous item store and they're just pure volume. But like, I don't know if COD think the same way, so I wouldn't put a time on it. It just comes down to like them. I don't know. Like, I just think that the Nick thing ended so poorly for them on so many levels that I just don't think that they're going to be willing to run it back. I don't think it's worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But they're desperate for money, so who the fuck knows? Maybe decide it's a way to make revenue and they'll try it again.
Well, thank you, Joser. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's something that people used to talk about, but yeah, that situation just didn't end well. So, just don't know if it happened. Tully, what up? What's your question?
How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Just a real quick comment on what he just said before. I don't think you'll see it because even if you take Overwatch, they had the one character with the name that the who they named it after came down with a sexual assault lawsuit of the dev, and they had to remove the entire character, change the name and everything. So
yeah, it's just too much like liability, like stuff. Like it's just
but so I have two comment questions, I guess you could say. So the first one is, I think this whole meta thing is overblown. I think the league should be deciding all this. If you take the NBA or MLB, they come down and make the rules. So like when the NBA had the sneakers that they didn't want to allow, that didn't come down to the players to decide that. The league decided that. The league decides the rules and what's going to occur. So why it doesn't come down to the players to make those decisions and all of that. If they want to move the 3-point line back or a 4-point line or whatever, that comes down to the league, not the players.
yeah.
So
I mean, it's just different. I don't think it's like apples to apples, bro. Like our game, we have a new game every year. It's like totally different. You know what I mean? It has to be a collaboration with players and league. It just has to, because they're like, go ahead, Ben. But like the players are the S tier experts in this instance, where it's like it's different in NBA, NFL, right? Like it's the same game that you're changing like rules to. But like COD is just it's you can't compare it, bro. You really can't.
So the whole sneaker thing, sneakers is not a good analogy because for a long time there were very restrictive sneaker rules in the NBA. This is well covered in the 70s and the 80s and the Jordan era. And the NBA in recent times with social media, because I think they're smart, have realized how giving players as much freedom of expression as possible is a great sell for regular season games to just give people exposure to want to tune in. Oh, so and so is wearing like cool ass fucking sneakers when they're walking in or they're warming up. Like they'll get a couple extra eyeballs, which will help us. Like it raises all tides. I think to Ant's point, the problem is like if you're talking about weapon meta, yeah, I think the league can do a bit more to try and make it more fresh and like heavily restrict the guns that are available from stage to stage. The players are still going to fuck about and GA attachments and do their own thing, and there's not a fucking thing that Activision can do about it. You can't stop the GAs. It's impossible.
I completely agree with that point. I just thought that maybe there should be a team on the dev side that you'd be like, okay, like you are hired only to make the competitive rule sets, because I'm sure that's in other leagues as well.
Yeah, that'd be sensational.
Well, I don't think this has been a well educated topic because I think it's been discussed a couple times on the publisher side, and I just don't think the studio is going to be willing to pay someone a full-time salary where all they focus on is just the competitive tools. There's just going to be there are way more high priority bugs and topics and tasks that they need to tackle, and it's going to be difficult for them to like fight into that.
Which then comes into my next question, because I have a financial background. That's how my mind works. Is when the league contract ends, can you see these big name orgs saying we don't want to be part of this bigger picture? We don't make enough money, and they all drop down into challengers, and then you have these smaller time orgs that move up in our partner teams. Because I saw something years ago when Optic wasn't guaranteed a spot and they were the last team in, that they would have just formed their challengers team with all their pros. So if you go down to challengers level, you can pay the players the same amount. You're just not partnered and have to put on events and deal with everything on the league side.
Optic are a very special case scenario. They are a very unique situation, and their relationship with Activision is this has been well documented via conversations from Hector, lawsuits. They have a very unique relationship with Activision that is nobody else has, because the size of their fan base, the creators that have come through, and like how tied their org is to Call of Duty. They're in a symbiotic, crazy relationship with Activision. It's hilarious. But if the league dies, like everybody's going to be fucking out. Like if the league's died and someone else is stepping in and running a third party, like it's going to kill everything. What you're saying, yeah, you might see small orgs, but that'll be the death of it. Like that's why when people talk about like Pat sits here and simplifies it, like we don't need to have the league. Well, then who's writing $1 million fucking check?
Yeah,
you know,
and
7 times a year to make shit funded. Is it the PIF? Like who? You know what I'm saying? Like the other side of that is, it ain't a fucking nice looking fucking meadow like we're in Sound of the Music. It's looking like a fucking wasteland, like we're playing fucking Fallout. So be careful what you wish for in some of these situations.
Oh yeah, it all comes down to finances and how in the green are your P&L, and it doesn't matter anything else besides that. It's a world run on
thank
money.
you, Tully. Appreciate you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
yes, I will say though, and this is the thing with esports, is that many publishers see it as an avenue in order to, as a marketing spend in order to achieve revenue by the exposure that it comes from. And I think they can do a better job at Activision by having better MTX for the teams, because then you can better justify the marketing costs. It's a cyclical thing. But I think that topic is
An absolute masterclass out of 1J.
tough.
Just doing a civil service to the community. All right, J
People are
Dog.
saying, hold on, Lance Interview, people are saying the Saudis. I just want everybody to be clear while it's happening in the fucking world right now. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there was a lot of comments from Al Rumian, who's the head of the public endowment fund of Saudi, and they're pulling back a bit their investment because I think they realize, unfortunately, guys, and I don't want to get too much in politics, but this Iran war, I don't think is any time any fucking soon. And the Saudis, because the Houthis are backed by the Iranians, and also because they're a missile throw away, they're in it. And they're going to have to spend money on defense and potentially offense, depending on how it goes. And I don't know if they're just going to be out here willing. I know much been said by podcasts about how much MBS and his brother and people in the royal family are gamers and they want to support the gaming scene. I don't know if they're going to be out here willing to spend fucking 20 M's a year to fucking make a CWL fucking clone with DSL.
All right, J Dog's our final questionnaire. What's up?
What's up, guys? Sorry, I've been doing business shit all day, so I missed like all your episode. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it on YouTube.
You're good.
Hell yeah.
No, you guys may have talked about this, but the Miami Heretics. I know I'm not fading when I think like they've been like super underwhelming since the major.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, okay, as an Optic fan, kind of happy, but as, like look at them objectively. Do you guys see them being the Real at all, or do you guys let this team like play out?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they signed him to 28, so I see a world where they do it. Do I think it's the right decision? I don't know. I don't. Probably not.
And also, like the meta, doesn't the meta kind of like hurt them? I feel like because I feel like Rancor has been their best player.
Yeah, I mean,
well, third sub. We'll see if they can do it. I mean, that's what's going to come down.
Yeah,
to.
who's like Rancor's their flex, but like he's just not a great SMG.
So for that, bro.
Oh, I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on Miami.
They're in a hard spot. They're going to be forced to adapt. Ben just said it. I mean, if they can't adapt, it's tough. I mean, their S&D has to remain dominant. I will say they did play Thieves twice, which kind of like they're just not good against Thieves as it seems. Yeah. But yeah, for them, they have to adapt. I mean, they have to get good at some of these new maps, and then the search has to stay dominant. And then they just have to translate online to LAN. That has been the case through 2 majors now, and it's the same. It's kind of the same situation. They're in the same spot the Falcons are in, but nobody's talking about them that way. Where it's like this, picking up Real to me is like almost. It's not as dire, but almost the same as the trials that Falcons ran with QK. It's like really similar to me, like applying that type of pressure, like Lumen Real, and the fact that it's still 2028, right, and that he's a good player that they had obviously success with last year. But the problem is just like, who would you replace? Like, Metals and Trakes have both been playing fine, and it's been an AR meta up until this point. And like on LAN, you can't really pinpoint one player. You're definitely not dropping Trakes. That would be asinine. And from what we've heard from their camp and everything on the outside, like Metals that's who like people want to play with over there because he does so much for them. And their stats are kind of insane sometimes, especially like when Real was on the team. So I can't answer that, bro. Miami's they've made good decisions up until this point, so
they feel like the most tricky team to gauge.
They are.
I don't know why.
They are. It's not like we know why. It's because we just don't know who's going to be the flex and who's gonna if they're gonna rise to the occasion. Like it's Rencor, but like, will it work?
Can I ask what the CDL point system is for the minor?
Top 4 gets points. Pretty sure.
So you're saying if Miami lose in their first match, they're just screwed and they get nothing?
Yeah, so 1 through no. Hey, this is the minor. Oh, never mind. So yeah, top 4 gets 45 or more, and then 30 and then 15 for 7th. So no. I lied. That's the major. Yeah. Top 3 gets points. 30, 20, 10. And then after that, nobody gets points. So you gotta get top 3. which I think it's just top 4, right? Because it's single limb. Am I tripping? Yeah. So yeah, top 4.
Yeah, it is top 4.
Yeah, just top 4. I was right. All right. So yeah, I mean, really, you just want to get top 4.
Funniest shit.
What?
I said Boston has the chance to do the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, they do. If they beat them, they'll probably make a change. Like if Boston beat Miami, they'll probably bring reality.
You have to.
I don't know if you have to.
Losing the Purge, that has to be wild.
I don't know if you. I mean, it's just hard. Like, who are you replacing? Oh no, we'll see. I mean, I have hope for Miami. I still think that they're like solid, but like I said, they lost to Thieves twice. Thieves have been getting better.
All right, man. Well, I hope you guys have a good day and a
Yeah,
good night.
you too.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, great episode, Ben. Another banger.
Yeah, man, I think it was a W. We got a lot of good questions. I'm really excited for the minor this weekend to see who wins, and then we get 2 weeks of online qualifiers, and then we'll be in fucking Atlanta.
Yep, this is our bracket. If you guys want to screenshot it, I think we're batting 1,000 up until the final. Who knows what's going to happen?
I think the file's a coin flip. And I also will say this. I will be surprised if Gentlemen for Thieves are also in this final, too. I think
Same.
those series might be
Or
closer
Toronto.
than we were predicting. Or Toronto, I agree. They could upset Optic for sure.
Or Toronto. This just gets crazy if Boston does like upset Miami, or if like C9 beats Mini. Like, bro, we could have some crazy shit happen after this minor tournament. But yeah, great episode. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Ben's got some special stuff planned for tomorrow with Daniel. That's gonna be fun. I will be tuned in. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the show this weekend for the minor tournament. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like. We'll catch you in the next one.